I think I know the play of the day.
What's that? I wasn't paying attention.
I said, I think I know the play of the day.
Do you?
Yeah, I think.
Okay. I think you do too. We'll see.
I mean, the Lions didn't do anything last night, so I was able to narrow that down.
Right.
The Wings, they
Pistons
didn't
didn't
play.
play. Wings didn't play.
Right. So I think I got it. Whew. But you never know. I mean, near the end, Felipe threw a WNBA highlight in when the Aces won the championship.
Yeah, I can tell you I'll probably never do that unless it's something crazy. Unless it's like a full court shot to win game 7.
And you have the radio call.
Yes.
Right.
I was going to bust your chops, David, when FGCU was on it. David, I got back in the car and the game's on the radio. When did they get a radio deal?
Beats me, Mark. Are they on the radio?
No.
Well, because John Vitas was trying to put together. First, he was just going to do the Indiana game. Then he was going to do like Indiana, Minnesota, Pitt, or Indiana, Minnesota, Cincinnati, something like that. And of course, FGCU nixed it because it costs money. Even though I thought I had arranged sponsorship for him. And then, of course, it gets nixed, and Bobby Knight dies. And so I waited a day, and I sent out a message that said, boy, no reason to do the first game at Assembly Hall after Bobby Knight died.
Well, and the thing is, they would have both been compelling listens at Indiana and Pitt.
Yeah. I played them tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I will say I was following the Pitt game in my, on my phone because I'm at soccer practice, and I'm like, or gymnastics rather, I'm like, if I got in the car and it was on,
you'd be listening.
I'd be listening.
Right.
Not to mention, as you and I both know, the most important broadcast time is the post game of the home games.
I offered one year to do live post game from the home games, in which I would set up the radio equipment and have it set up and do the ESPN Plus, and we immediately after the game interview the coach for a minute and then you sign off. Okay. And literally could we'll text the radio station and they can start running the liner, and we're heading live to Alico Arena, brought to, and then run a couple minutes of commercials, literally take the headset off, put the headset on, and do live post game. No. Oh, okay. And this was when they had people at the games. And, let everybody know, hey, get in your cars, listen to the post game. And Fly was all in. His first year, he's like, absolutely, love the idea. Look at that. The power of sports. Ambien's having a great week because the Broncos won.
That's the only prime time game that we don't have to watch, Ambien. I mean, you'll watch it, but the rest of us won't.
Ready to rock. Here we go.
I'm ready to roll. Behind with what's your favorite Seinfeld character?
The Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you. Past the halfway point, we make the turn for home. How the heck are you? Yeah, I'm getting there. About 70%. Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network. FloridaSportsNetwork.com.
There was a crackle and a pop in there, but I know there's some snap to you because we talked before the show. So I think you've got all three elements that make a good show: snap, crackle, and pop, David.
No, by the weekend, I'll be a tremendous bowl of Rice Krispies. I really will by the weekend. The week's probably going to sound a little rough, but, it happens. It happens. A week away from Thanksgiving. Making your plans. You're going to see a bunch of people you don't normally see and you don't necessarily want to see.
Spend time with family.
Right. Which, goodness knows, we try desperately to avoid now, don't we? Either that or you're one of those, you're close-knit families. You guys spend a lot of time together. At which Thanksgiving's like, really? I got to see them. I just saw them last weekend. Oh, good. Oh, it's at our place this year. That's fantastic.
How's your anxiety for Thanksgiving, David? It sounds to me, because you've brought up Thanksgiving more for this Thanksgiving than I ever recall you bringing it up.
Yeah.
And as has been pointed out on the show, you are hosting 13 people at your home. I'm not aware that you knew 13 people. Or 12 others. So I'm impressed just the fact that you're getting 13 into your abode for this. But I sense you have nerves. You have this feeling that something will go wrong.
Oh, yes. Absolutely something will go wrong. Yes. There's a combination of, first, whose idea was this? Why are we doing this? All right. Secondly, it's like, well, if we're going to do it, then I want to do it. I want to be in charge of the whole thing. Wait, we're farming out half the meal? Why are we doing that? Because we're going to be held responsible, okay, if this doesn't work out. And I don't want to be held responsible for the stuff that's not my fault. Talked with the daughter last night. She's like, oh, no, husband, son-in-law. Oh, no, we're excited. We can't wait to cook. And I'm like, great. I'm talking to Mark Miller now at night. This is fantastic. No. And we've got the menu all planned out. What do you mean we've got the menu all planned out? Whose Thanksgiving is this? And she starts rattling off. Here's what we're going to make. First 3 things she rattles off I don't even like. I'm like, that's good. Better be turkey.
Well, David, let's get this down to brass tacks here. You like the turkey, the mashed potatoes, and the stuffing. Anything else is there for other people. You're the big 3. I mean, you're not messing around with sweet potatoes. You're not messing around with a green bean casserole. You are turkey, stuffing, and mashed potatoes. Where's the gravy? I don't need a ladle. I will just pour it into my mouth.
Right. And let's also cut right to the chase. Now, with this many people, I'm afraid there's not going to be enough food.
It's a lot of people. I mean, 13 people to me almost means 2 birds. I'm not even joking around.
Thank you. So apparently we're doing a bird and a ham.
Okay. All right. At least there's this backup protein there.
Right. So, but I still don't know if there's enough food because there has to be enough food for me.
Right. And when you take into account, like most people will look and they'll factor in a quarter a pound of meat per there's a ratio to this. Times it by 3 for certain people.
Right. Like I look at the bird. Like when I see the bird, I go, well, that'll do for me. That's what I think of. Whenever I see the Thanksgiving bird, I go, Well, that'll work for me. Oh, wait, we have how many others here? Only one bird? No, that's my bird. Where's their bird?
That's my bird.
Right. So
You guys can have the ham. I've got the bird.
So that's really where I think the crux of this lies, Mark, is that I'm like, well, there's not going to be enough food.
The good news is if you get to sit at the kiddie table, no one's going to really get in your way while you're eating. I mean, you had made the announcement yesterday that there's enough seating for everybody but one at the main table.
Right.
You think you're basically saying kick me out.
So I found out last night that I'm sitting. I kind of
knew you were.
I can't be the one person standing. My wife is going to be the one person.
I told you this.
Right. So now I have to sit with people that I didn't invite and be nice. Also, that's the other thing. It's a holiday. I'm expected to be nice.
Do you know how?
Of course I know how.
Yeah.
No, I do. I really do. I know how. It's just a matter of, do I want to?
And I don't think you'll take this as seriously as you take the Monday Night Football 11 a.m. production meetings in which you've been a sarcastic blankety blank in those.
Right. That's the thing. See, I can't bring that attitude to Thanksgiving dinner.
Why?
Well, because there will be, remember, there will be sharp silverware out at this event. All right. If I bring that attitude, like we have a 10 a.m. production meeting today before the Monday night game, which will have an 11 a.m. production meeting the morning of the game.
Meetings are important, David.
So I'm told. Yes. And so, yeah, my attitude at these meetings is lacking. It is. It's, what are we doing here? Why are we doing this? We're all professionals. We know what we're doing. Who are the two teams again? Fine. Let's go. I mean, it's the same thing every week. Just fill in different names of quarterbacks and different names of teams. It's the same thing. It's a football game. It's not that complicated. It's Thanksgiving. It's a turkey. Potatoes, stuffing. Some people like dark meat. Some people like white meat. Some people like regular potatoes. Some people like sweet potatoes. Yeah, okay, fine. Where's my bird? That's what I want to know. Because the other thing, Mark, is, let's face it, I'm spoiled when it comes to eating. I live with my wife and my mother-in-law. Well, they don't eat a lot. So what does that mean? And they don't eat leftovers.
Just a quick question. And I'm saying this because I am guilty of it. I don't eat my wife's food, but because the daughter sometimes doesn't finish her dinner, that's extra for me.
Mm-hmm.
With the wife and mother-in-law, do they just hand the leftovers to you?
Mother-in-law treats me like I'm the family dog. Always has. Okay. All right. Here, my leftover. You want these? Okay. Love her dearly. Has, for 30 years now. Here we go. Yep.
And you act like the family dog when she hands them to you.
Well, there are times in which, honestly, the dog's like, no, I'm full. The dog's like, no, I don't know if I really want that. And yeah, okay. So, but when there's just the three of us, there is no bird that can be purchased that is not going to be mine. So it's awesome. That's not going to be the case this Thanksgiving. All right. I'm telling you, I'm not going to get enough food. When everybody leaves, and whenever that is, fourth quarter of the Cowboys game, or, shortly thereafter, I'm going to, say something along the lines of, I need to walk this off. And I'm going to get in the car and go on a fast food run. I can just tell you right now, I know it. I know it. You're
going to have to go for a gas station run, though. The fast food joints won't be open.
Well, that's fine.
Might be time for you to break into a Wawa, because that's where you'll be able to get your fill.
Oh, they have gas station convenience store competitions here in Jacksonville. I mean, they really do. They've got like 3 chains in which, they try to outdo the other. I mean, they're damn near cooking filet mignon. They're so into doing food. So,
well, hopefully no one at Thanksgiving will go Draymond Green on anyone else at the table, whether it's the Moulton household, our household, or your household, because we do not need suspensions from Thanksgiving.
well, that you bring up a dadgum good point. Is there somebody at your Thanksgiving dinner that you want to come up behind and put a chokehold on? In fact, I think that should be the poll question.
Just a yes or no? Will you get Draymond Green at your Thanksgiving dinner?
In honor of Draymond Green, will there be someone at your Thanksgiving table that you want to come up from behind and put a chokehold on? Yes or no? I'm guessing yes will win. 60-40.
It's a dark question. And you're probably right with the answer.
But it's a funny question. It's a little dark humor, but it is humor. It's funny. It is. Ha ha. Remember, it's in honor of Draymond Green. Once again, we're passing off the blame. Even though we like the question because we want to know. But, we're using Draymond. He's not going to be playing for the next week and a half. We're using him. Least we can do is get a poll question out of him. You two both like Michigan State. He's a beloved Spartan.
Yes, from my hometown. He's a Saginaw guy.
Wow.
I love me some Draymond, but he's turning into, if he's not already turned into a caricature, he's heading down the Rodman path a little bit, isn't he? Yes.
I mean, not the dresses and he's not piercing his face or anything, but I mean, just, we're now at times debating. There are times still in which he gives so much on the court. We're like, oh, wow, he's indispensable. They can't win a championship without him. And then there are times in which you go, does he even belong on the court anymore? What in the world?
The crazy thing, too, is as he ages and as his game gets less effective, he's going to act out like this more and more often.
No doubt.
That's the Rodman. I mean, that's where the comparison comes from.
Right.
Because as Rodman got older, the same thing started to happen. His skills were not there. Therefore, he started acting out more.
He was a publicity stunt, right? In Dallas, Mark Cuban. Hey, come on, Dennis. Sell some tickets. 20 games later, they're like, you're done.
Yeah, he barely got through that final go around with the Bulls. That was right about the end. And you wonder if Draymond is there. Because there are a lot of people who think he's a Hall of Fame player. I don't, but there are a lot of people who think he is.
I don't, and he will be. I think there are far more people in the basketball world that say he's a Hall of Famer than do not. When it's all said and done, I think he gets in. Miller and Moulton, great show for you today. The starting 5, 25 minutes away. Thanks for listening, Miller and Moulton.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. So, in honor of Draymond Green putting Rudy Gobert in a chokehold, do you want to put anyone in a chokehold at your Thanksgiving dinner? That's our poll question.
I think it's fun.
Well, he's gone.
I do think it would be more than 60-40, though. I'd say 75-25.
Mine is a definite no. There's not anybody I'd like to put in a chokehold.
You're lucky.
My mom occasionally, but not lately. So it reads as follows: in honor of Draymond Green putting Rudy Gobert in a chokehold, do you want to put anyone in a chokehold at your Thanksgiving dinner?
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful.
For about 19 minutes, as long as we've been on the air, I've been trying to get the keyboard to load. It finally just came through. I thought we were cooked for a second. All the, the intros for starting five and stuff. Just now pulling up. So we've got it, which is good news. Just a good thing you guys don't need anything until third segment of the first hour.
Mark Adams got a message for you.
Oh, that is great. I was going to ask you about that. Did you see that? The
Yes.
Van Hagar thing? You going to go see him or no?
No.
Why not?
I saw Sammy Hagar here a couple of years ago.
Yeah, but the whole thing is they're doing the Van Halen
No, they're
stuff.
doing the Van Hagar stuff.
True. But I kind of looked at the bottom of the graphic. They got a bunch of song titles. Panama's on there, and so was Running with the Devil. Those were the two that I saw.
No,
I don't know if there's any other.
I have to admit, you could get me with Running with the Devil. That was the song that got me.
Yeah. But Mark, you wouldn't go to see the 5150 stuff or any of that?
I saw a lot of it when I saw Sammy perform, and it was good, and that's enough. He's old.
76.
I mean, he's old.
Yeah.
He can't sing anymore.
Well, at least he still sings live.
Yeah,
Like,
but
some of these
Michael
guys-
Anthony sings a lot of the songs.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. I'll probably say I've never seen him before, so I'll probably
It'd be
go.
worth seeing if you've never seen it.
Okay, here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour. Top of the morning to you. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, Florida sportsnetwork.com. Roy Cummings will join us next hour. Nice win by the Bucs. I mean, granted, it was against previously 3-5 Tennessee, but they treated them like a 3-5 team, and they treated them like they had a rookie quarterback. I mean, that's what you're supposed to do, as opposed to the week before against Houston Texans and their rookie quarterback. Of course, maybe the difference is the difference in rookie quarterbacks. We will certainly see. But I'll tell you what, Mark, is C.J. Stroud and what he's doing enough of an attraction where if you were a network TV executive, you would say, we got a game on the schedule. Maybe we should find a way to get C.J. Stroud and the Texans on TV. Because I happen to know of a network executive or two that are contemplating just that.
And I know of which the game you speak. You've talked about it a few times. And I don't think it's there yet.
Okay.
I think that's the sports talk show host in you advancing a story a touch early.
And for the record, I was not the one bringing it up at the meeting to say, hey, we should consider this. That the touchdown drive against the Bucs, that performance, there are a few people of importance that went, we may have something here. Do we have to find a way to get him and them on TV once this year? That's all.
And the game to do it would be the game against Jacksonville.
And I don't think that that's happening.
No, Trevor Lawrence, C.J. Stroud,
right.
that's
first,
me.
First place in the division, blah, blah, blah. Right.
If you're going to sell it, that's how you'd sell it.
Right. But that's, just wondering, is he to the point? Has he done enough in half a season in which it's like, might want to see him? Like I'm pounding the table. We got to get the Dolphins on. They're fun. I don't know how good they are. Beat bad teams, lose to good teams. Whatever. There's a lot of that in the league, by the way. So, they're fun. Let me tell you something. If they ever went back and wore the uniforms they're supposed to be wearing, I'd be arrested at the production meetings. I'd be so obnoxious to get the Dolphins on television.
We do that need them to be fun against a good team.
Yes.
They don't even have to win, per se. It would be nice.
Right.
They need to be fun.
Right.
They needed to lose that game against the Chiefs 35-28, if you know what I mean.
Totally. Like the Eagles lost the Super Bowl 38-35. I'm totally with you. Okay. That's what I was hoping for in, was that London or Germany?
That
Where
was
that?
That was
Germany?
London.
That was London? I don't know. So, yes, instead of 21-14, where they were scoreless at the half and the Chiefs had 40 yards offense in the second half, yes, I was kind of hoping that would be, last team with the ball, that sort of deal.
That was Germany.
It was Germany?
That was Germany.
All right.
That was Germany.
See, I finally remember where the damn game was, and you talked me out of it because I don't know. It wasn't in the States. I know that. Hey, man, I got hot last night when I heard this story, and not in a good way. So this is a Miller and Moulton pet peeve because for the longest time we were together in a market in which the one major college started as a D2 and then went and became a D1. And there's a rule that the NCAA has when that happens, that you can't compete for championships right away.
Because of all the D2 schools that have made the jump and have gone on to win national championships, they had to put
Right. And so we asked actually, 15 years ago, we go, why is there a 4-year waiting period to be able to compete for championships when you go from D2 to D1? And they were actually 6 seconds of truth. They said, we're trying to discourage schools from going D1. And we think that if you could become immediately eligible, more schools would do it. So we're trying to put a big roadblock in front of them, kind of like, you sure you want to do this? You ain't going to compete for anything for the first 4 years. Oh, good. So we've seen a couple of instances lately in which the D2 team transferring to D1 has actually won their basketball conference, and they've been ineligible for the NCAA tournament. Happened in the ASUN conference 2 years ago. Bellarmine out of Louisville, Kentucky, won the ASUN tournament. They didn't represent the conference in the NCAA tournament. They didn't even get to compete in the NIT, which we thought was bogus. So anyway, there are 3 schools that have made the jump to D1. James Madison, Jacksonville State, and Tarleton State. And they've been appealing, saying, hey, come on, we're ineligible for postseason play. And in 2 of the 3 schools' case, Mark, I think they would be in their conference championship game this year. Like, I think James Madison, aren't they in the Sun Belt?
Well, James Madison would definitely be in the they're undefeated. So they would be in the conference championship.
Right. And so now when the season started, they were not eligible for the conference title game. But they've been appealing for a year. And so is Jacksonville State, which is in Northeast Alabama, and Tarleton State. Well, they lost what seems to be their final appeal yesterday, the NCAA. This is the 4th appeal they've all lost. So, Mark, once again, no. So now you could argue it obviously both ways. When the season started, nobody thought that James Madison was eligible, but they're the best team in the Sun Belt. I mean, shouldn't you want your best team in the championship game? And what's the harm here, right?
It's a bad rule. We've always thought it was a bad rule.
Yeah.
And now James Madison will take the brunt of it. They can still play in a bowl game if there are not enough eligible teams to fill out the 82 slots, 41 bowl games that are 500 or better.
Right. So if we have like 80 6-6 or better teams, then James Madison, along with Jacksonville State or Tarleton State, they're eligible to be picked to fill in the bowl slots. But also think about it. Like, Colorado is not likely to get to 6-6. But say Colorado's 5-7. You're running a bowl. Undefeated James Madison or Dion and 5-7 Colorado?
I will say, outside of Dion and 5-7 Colorado, I'm taking James Madison ahead of every other 5-7 team in the country, because I do think they would travel. I do think they would show up and represent. I think that's the only team, David, that you brought up that would be selected in front of James Madison for whatever bowl.
How about 5-7 Florida?
No, I'd take James Madison.
Okay.
Because I don't think 5-7 Florida shows up at a bowl game.
Well,
we know their fan base won't show up for that game. They'd be embarrassed to be in the game.
I agree. And Gator fan, don't get upset with me. You're 5-5 and you're underdogs in your last 2 games against 2 top 10 teams. Don't be mad at me. It's not my doing.
David pointed at Arkansas.
I was going to say, we pointed that out going into the Arkansas game. We're like, better win this game. And it'd be nice if you could actually line up for a kick properly and on time. But, no need to hire a special teams coordinator. We got the whole thing down.
Buffalo doesn't need one. We don't need one.
Right. So that just got me a little honked off. I'm like, once again, taking it out on the little guys. you know, I mean, hell, if James Madison was eligible, wouldn't James Madison be competing for a New Year's Six?
I don't think so, because they can still be ranked. There's nothing preventing them from being ranked, and they're not ranked.
No, but I think wouldn't they be outside? Isn't Tulane like the only non-power school that's really ahead of them? The starting five is next. Thanks for listening, Miller and Moulton.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Yeah, hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here.
Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Yeah, I said Finn's Brett that they're in Northeast Alabama.
No, he did. Don't worry. The other people, Ambient Heat, thought they were in Florida. That's
no.
You're catching the conversation.
Gotcha. Jacksonville State beat Auburn in football like 2-3 years ago. You're right. They didn't win any FCS championships. North Dakota State prevented a lot of schools from winning FCS championships in the last 10 years. And DC, so let's see. A group of fans didn't go to Fargo in early December for a football game.
Right. That's what I was going to say.
You're going to hold that against the fan base, huh? Isn't that one of those in which you go, if they win, I'll go to the title game in Frisco, Texas, but no, it's good, Finn's Brett. We appreciate you watching and listening. Appreciate it. By the way, Finn's Brett, earlier in the week, we asked the question, with Buffalo's loss, do you think the Dolphins just won the AFC East? Huh? I just remember getting to Fargo at the very end of September. It was a beautiful day in the low 70s. I asked, how much longer you think we'll be playing golf? And everybody without hesitation said, oh, no more than 2 weeks. I went, what? And sure enough, courses were closed by Columbus Day, and before Halloween, we had snowfall. Every year, we had snowfall by Halloween. I loved Fargo. I really did. My wife, not so much. Too isolated. Nobody would come visit us. That bothered her. I was fine with it. No doubt, Finn's Brett, but that's the final 3 games of the year. I mean, look at your next 5 games are all teams 500 or below. You could go 4-1, 5-0 in your next 5 here.
And Little Rock's a good city, Finn's Brett. I've been to
I know. Every time I think of Little Rock, I think of old Memorial Stadium. Makeshift booth, bunch of wooden planks. It was barely stable. A shower curtain separating us from the crowd. This drunken guy pulling the shower curtain over in the second quarter and yelling, "That's Vern Lundquist!" Yeah, that was fun. Wasp nest in the corner of the booth. Gary and Werner on camera. I'm spraying the nest. Golly. That was day after Thanksgiving. See what a good turducken will do? I remember this all fondly. It's because I had turducken for the first time the night before. It's amazing. Mark.
Did you vote on the poll question yet? Did you retweet it?
Yeah. I voted yes, and I even had a comment. I said, I don't want to do it as hard as Draymond did to Rudy, but oh, yeah.
And I want to do it to my wife for allowing 13 people to be at our house for, and we only got less than a minute here, David. But I'm trying to figure out how you get to 13.
11 adults, 2 children.
Who are these people?
Well, wow. Let's see. Well, there's the 3 of us.
Right, and the 3 of them.
The wife, the son-in-law, and the right. So there's 6. Right. Brother-in-law, girlfriend, 8. Niece, husband, child.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes before the hour. Roy Cummings joins us 1 hour from now. We'll talk a little Tampa Bay Bucs, as we always do, on this Thursday edition of Miller and Moulton. Thanks for being with us. Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. We have a poll question, Mark.
We do have a poll question. In honor of Draymond Green putting Rudy Gobert in a chokehold, do you want to put anyone in a chokehold at your Thanksgiving dinner?
See, this is cutting right to it. It's family. You got the good side of family, and you got the blank.
And it's not, will you put anyone in a chokehold?
No.
It says, do you want to?
Right.
We're
That's
not
all.
saying that you're going to.
Right. I mean, come on. Like, you don't fake it at family holiday gatherings. Really? There's no one you're faking it with at the family holiday gathering.
And David, I voted no. There is not one single person that I want to put into a chokehold at my family Thanksgiving dinner.
Man, the influence of your wife, it's just has softened you so much. Honestly. But listen, he's the better person on the show, ladies and gentlemen. He is. I have said that for years. All right. Mark has gotten a bad rap. Okay. Just because at times he can sound a little surly doesn't mean that he's actually not the softer marshmallow of the two.
I feel a lot like a marshmallow these days.
Well, apparently you stepped on the scale and it said you're the biggest marshmallow you've ever been.
Said I was the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, for crying out loud.
Are you afloat in the Macy's parade on Thursday?
I'm attacking buildings and Ghostbusters. I'm just waiting for them to shoot me and blow some of this fat off.
Well, no need to stop now, at least not until the first of the year, right? Got too many things lined up. It's 20 now before the hour. How about we do this? Time now for
The starting 5 5 stories you need to know. It's the Starting 5 on Miller and Moulton. Here's number 1.
This story broke in the final minutes of our show along the network yesterday. Deshaun Watson, turned out he played the whole second half, a perfect second half, by the way. Wasn't he like 13 for 13 in the second half?
I actually think it was one better than that. I thought it was 14 of 14.
Okay.
But regardless, yes, you are correct, David.
With a busted shoulder. I had something broken in there. Throwing shoulder, by the way.
Right.
Right. And so he's out for the year. Shoulder surgery. I mean, forget the high ankle sprain. His throwing shoulder's messed up.
Shot.
So he did say, he goes, it was painful, but, you know, I mean, we had to win. So I do hope it doesn't mean, you know, you're not.
You don't have to like him.
Right.
You can still loathe him.
But, you know, I think now we can put to bed the whole he's not tough, he doesn't want to play. Just because he's got the guaranteed contract storyline, right?
It was an easy, lazy narrative.
Right.
The guy was hurt.
Right. I mean, this was Kurt Schilling in the bloody sock, for goodness sake, is what he did Sunday. It just wasn't a playoff game. If it was, you know, this would be Jack Youngblood on a broken leg. This would be Phillip Rivers with a torn ACL.
But you should even realize that it's that much more impressive because it wasn't a playoff game. It was a regular season game in which he put everything on the line to go out and play when he couldn't. When most people would not be able to play with that type of pain, he played through it. And again, doesn't mean you have to like the guy. We're not at all suggesting that.
We thought they were going to PJ Walker. I mean, he's the backup quarterback, right? Starter's out. You go to the backup. They're going with Dorian Thompson-Robinson instead. Huh. Yeah. Okay. I mean, neither choice sounds great. Got to be honest with you. PJ or DTR. But they're going with DTR. Huh. Okay. Good luck. Hope it works out for you. You have one of the best, if not the best, defense in the league. There's a way to win games.
Got to figure out a way to win 4 more.
Yep. Got to get to 10.
I don't think they're putting in the right guy to win 4 more, David.
Me neither, but, you know, that's why Kevin Stefanski makes the big bucks. So T. Higgins will not play tonight. This is the second game in a row he's going to miss. Bengals at Ravens. Baltimore 3.5-point favorite. Over under 46.5. So basically, give or take a point, 24-21 Ravens. Basically what they're saying. Does that sound about right? Place your bets accordingly. Arizona claimed Jets running back Michael Carter off waivers. That didn't take long, especially since they're first in the waiver, list. And Carolina head coach Frank Reich, he's taking play calling back, Mark. So they're winless. He gives up play calling. The offensive coordinator gets the play calling, goes 1-2, and now Frank Reich is taking play calling back. I got to admit, Carolina looks like a disaster right now.
In more ways than one. Because obviously their quarterback's not as good as the quarterback in Houston at this point. It doesn't mean he's going to be bad, but so you have second guessing that, not to mention the fact that they're in line for the first overall pick that they've already traded to Chicago.
Right, and they're in need of a really good wide receiver. And, they traded one to Chicago for the draft rights to the quarterback who's not as good as the guy Houston took.
Right, and that'll allow Chicago to take a quarterback and a receiver with those picks.
Correct. So that Caleb Williams will have Marvin Harrison Jr. to throw to. Let's see how the Bears screw that up. College football. Listen, we got to give this guy some credit. David Braun is his name. He inherited Northwestern when they fired Pat Fitzgerald. And Miller and Moulton said, this is going to be the biggest grease fire in Division I college football. And I went so far as to say, I think Northwestern could become what Kansas was for 10 years, which was the worst Power 5 program in the country. He's got them 5-5. They'd won 4 games total the last 2 years. So obviously, one win in their last 2, they're going to a bowl. This guy was defensive coordinator at North Dakota State for 4 years, had never been a head coach, had only been on campus 6 months when he got named interim head coach. Well, they took the interim tag off. They're going to make him permanent head coach. After they upset Wisconsin on Saturday, the team took to social media to say, take the tag off. Do you know who one of the guys was who took to social media and hashtag take the tag off? Pat Fitzgerald's son. That's a pretty good endorsement.
That would go a long way.
So there you have it. We talked about it a little while ago. James Madison, Jacksonville State, Tarleton State, they were all denied waivers to be allowed to play in the postseason, which means their conference tournament, which 2 of the 3 would qualify for, and or bowl games. Some action last night. Ohio led 17-0 and held off Central Michigan 34-20. And Miami of Ohio clinched the berth in the MAC title game. They'll face Toledo for the championship at 2 weeks at Ford Field. Miami of Ohio beat Buffalo 23-10. We've got Thursday night college football tonight. BC is an underdog at 2-8 Pitt. What am I missing? BC 6-4, Pitt's 2-8. Pitt's a 3.5-point favorite. I mean, does that not look like a sucker bet? I mean, do I feel like I'm being like roped in there? Anyway,
Trying to figure. I mean, is BC's quarterback
well,
not
exactly?
playing?
I'm looking. I don't see it. I think they've won like 4 or 5. I just.
And he can run a little bit. I watched him play. I mean, he runs around a little bit.
They've won a couple of road games even. So I don't know. Major League Baseball. So they gave out the Cy Young Award last night. I know. It's very exciting. Blake Snell won it in the National League. If you recall, 5 years ago, he won it in the American League. Mark, quick trivia question. How many pitchers have won the Cy Young Award in each league?
I did my homework this morning, David. The answer to that question is 7.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. When you consider the fact that the Cy Young Award until I believe 69 was only awarded 1 Cy Young Award. They didn't have them in each league until 69. There you go. Garrett Cole, who had finished second twice for the Cy Young Award, was the unanimous choice in the American League. What's interesting, Mark, is Blake Snell won 14 games and Garrett Cole won 15. Strider of the Braves wasn't even a finalist for the Cy Young, and he won 20. It's all analytics, Mark. Just a whip. And, the wins aren't important anymore, Mark. RBIs are not important.
No, your whip is important.
Your whip is important.
And your OPS.
Yeah, right. Major League Baseball, by the way, after taking, what'd they take, about 26 minutes off the games from 306 down to 240? They're like, that's not enough. So you know how last year it was 15 seconds you had if there was nobody on base, and you had 20 seconds to throw the pitch if somebody was on base. They're going to reduce that to 18 seconds. And you go, big deal, 2 seconds. Major League Baseball says by reducing it from 20 seconds to 18 seconds, and they also want to take away 1 mound visit from 5 per game to 4, that they'll shorten each game by 5 minutes. Just by doing that.
Go get them, boys.
There you go. Rob Manfred's mission here. Miller and Moulton are all for it. NBA, Paolo Banchero with the turnaround jumper with a second to go. Orlando beat Chicago 96-94. Boston beat the Sixers, second time they played this year in Philly. Tatum with 29. Boston won by 10.
It was a better game than that. It was a pretty good game.
Yeah, and back and forth too.
Yeah,
Celtics
I mean it was an entertaining
Yeah.
game. Like I finally put an NBA game on and went, hey, both teams are playing hard and it's competitive. It was that was worth to watch.
2-point game going to the fourth. Yeah, it was good stuff. Knicks and Hawks, a good game. Hawks, Trae Young missed a key free throw down the stretch. Knicks held off Atlanta 116-114. Draymond Green suspended 5 games or his chokehold on Rudy Gobert. And the league said that he does this all the time. We're kind of sick of it. So I don't know if that action was worth 5 games, but we're trying to send a message here. I do just want to throw out, LeBron James is the oldest player in the league. He's 38 years old.
What did he do last night, David? I know they lost, but what did he do?
He had 28 points, 11 rebounds, 10 assists.
Yeah.
He's 38. Mike Brown, the Sacramento coach, who won the game after the game, is like, this guy's amazing. Okay, he goes, he's the best player on the floor. He's 38 years old. College hoops, South Florida lost to Central Michigan, 68-63. Bethune picked up their second win of the year. They beat Trinity Baptist by 41. FIU picked up their first win of the year. They beat Houston Christian, 83-74. Only ranked men's basketball game, 19th ranked Texas beat Rice, 80-64. Women's action, Bethune a winner in overtime, and North Florida lost to Gonzaga, 83-55. NHL, Mark, I told you that I had a hunch about the Flyers in Carolina. Philly 3-1. Vander Kane with a hat trick. Edmonton's won 3 in a row. They beat Seattle in overtime 4-3. Colorado at 5 in the third beat Anaheim 8-2. Vancouver beat the Islanders 4-3 in overtime. And Mark, you know that Tiger Woods, Rory McIlroy simulated golf league?
Yeah.
May not start on time.
No!
Well, apparently there was a power outage that caused the deflated part of their, simulator to collapse. And it caused some damage in Palm Beach Gardens. And so January 9th in prime time is when this league's supposed to start. And, well, they've got some work to do. Just saying. There are a lot of noteworthy people who have financially bought into this league.
And it's USFL-like in that the teams have city names, but everything's being played in West Palm.
Yeah. So, we'll see if it works.
My vote is no.
Right. My vote is no, but everybody I've talked to likes the idea. Monday and Tuesday night, simulated golf on television. Well, we'll see. Then again, listen, pickleball's on TV. I think it's the most dreadful thing to put on television. All right. And ESPN's airing more of it every year. So, Mark, what do we know? We thought moving the draft to prime time on Thursday was the dumbest idea ever. So we have to own that. At 7 minutes before the hour, that was
the Starting Five every weekday morning at this time on Miller and Moulton.
I'll stick with college hoop or the NHL or the NBA on my Mondays and Tuesdays. If I'm going to watch something, I'm going to watch a real sport, not simulated golf. But hey, maybe we're on our own island with this one, and maybe simulated golf will be the thing.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here.
Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're gonna have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
Visit Jason and Todd
at the Diamond District.
Jason and Todd are excited to kick off the holiday season at the Diamond District with their biggest diamond event of the year. This weekend, November 17th, 18th, and 19th, Jason and Todd rolled out the red carpet for you. Come view the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. Many jewelers talk about selection, but no one walks the walk like Jason and Todd. With over 6,000 square feet of showroom filled with stunning fine jewelry. They'll be in the store all weekend to work with you personally and make sure you get the lowest prices on all fine jewelry, GIA certified diamonds, diamond engagement rings, bracelets, diamond studs, and more. Takori, America's top bridal designer, will join the Diamond District with her entire collection of over 500 new bridal designs. If you're in love and want diamonds, now is the perfect time to visit the Diamond District. Jason and Todd will also throw in 3 years interest-free financing on what they promise to be the lowest prices on diamonds anywhere.
At the Diamond District.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Yeah, I couldn't put pickleball on. I couldn't watch it on TV because of the sound. Pickleball sounds awful.
The cost of the insurance policy, my guess is it would be millions. Believe E.B. Hill, that the insurance policies are not if they get hurt during the season and can't finish the season. The insurance policies are on career-ending injuries, I believe.
David, what's one word to describe the Browns giving him that contract when they did?
Ridiculous.
I saw that. I remember seeing it and thinking it was an error, like a reporting error. Couldn't believe it. All right, here we go.
But also they bailed on Baker.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this Thursday. Hope your week is going well, and thanks for spending part of it with us here on the Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Roy Cummings, we'll talk a little Tampa Bay Bucs later on this hour. We'll head to Cleveland 1 hour from now. Andy Baskin, longtime friend of the show. Deshaun Watson, season is over.
I felt badly when I saw the show rundown because we haven't had Andy on in a long time.
Haven't had him on all year, right?
And Andy's been incredibly gracious with his time over the years coming on when they're throughout this whole Deshaun Watson story. He's been terrific, and even before that. But another gut punch to the Cleveland Browns. And Andy's not just a reporter in Cleveland. He's from Cleveland, born and raised.
Right. Local TV guy who now does midday sports talk, does really well. Right. He's living this.
Living it.
Yeah, we feel the pain in his voice. I'm going to start by apologizing when we have him on and say,
Good.
we were going to ask you to come on this week because the Browns picked up the biggest regular season win they've had in a long time to get to 6-3. And then right when we're picking up the phone to call you, Deshaun Watson's out for the year after having the single defining moment of his Browns career thus far. So we were, Andy, trying to bring you on about something good. But once again, life as a Cleveland sports fan, the sports gods had other ideas.
No, Cleveland Browns are not allowed to have nice things.
No.
They're just not.
They're not. And Mark, this is going to be, it could work out differently, but so far, this whole move for Deshaun Watson, throwing Baker Mayfield to the side and $230 million fully guaranteed, and then he doesn't play most of last year, right? It was last year?
Last year, right. He had the suspension.
Right. So he missed, 11 of the 17 games?
Right.
And so now he comes back this year and gets hurt and hasn't played
He gets
all
hurt
of them.
after playing the first good half that he's really played since putting on a Browns uniform. The first time that he looked like Deshaun Watson.
Right. And it's like, hey, the Browns with that defense and Deshaun Watson. Right. So I believe when this season is over, he will have already pocketed $90 million.
I want to take that 9 number of years and I want to put a half on it. And if I put the over-under at 9.5 wins for the final wild card spot in the AFC,
oh boy,
would you go over or would you go under? I, for the record, will go under on this one. I think 9 is going to get it done in the AFC. I think the schedules are incredibly hard for the Buffaloes and Cincinnatis of the world. I don't have enough faith in the Indianapolises and the Las Vegases of the world that I think someone with 9 will get in. Do you agree with me?
Well, I didn't the whole offseason, and I didn't until, really this month. And now when you start to do the math, put it this way, Mark. I think the bet is dependent on tonight's game. I think if the Bengals win tonight, they'll get to 10. If the Bengals lose tonight to fall to 5-5, Obviously, the math says they got to go 5-2 the rest of the way. They can, but their schedule ain't easy. I mean, the AFC North team schedules are backloaded. Bunch of division games down the stretch here. So I think the bet, I'm still going to go over. I am still going to say it's going to take 10 to get in the AFC, but that there will be exactly 7 teams with 10 or more wins. But the percentages, I believe, are on your side.
I hope you're right, because that means teams are playing better football. I think the schedules are going to get in the way of too many teams, and I think 9 will be the last wild card team.
All right. I can't believe you wrote me in again. Golly. You know how to press those buttons, don't you? Okay. Play the schedule game with the Browns, because they're one of those 6-3 teams right now.
Yes, they are.
Host the Steelers, at the Broncos, at the Rams, host the Jags, host the Bears, at Houston, host the Jets, at Cincinnati.
There are 2 games in there that you should be able to just say are flat out wins. The Rams and the Bears.
Okay, remember, their quarterback's name is Dorian Thompson-Robinson, and if not, P.J. Walker.
I know, but with that defense, they will be, I'll rephrase it, David. They will be favored for sure in those 2 games. And I would say they will be, I don't know about significant, but a field goal or greater favorites in both of those games.
The Browns have won 4 of their last 5. Their only loss was that bit fluky, actually, loss in Seattle. The pass late deflected off Jamal Adams' helmet, led to a turnover, and then maybe Geno Smith's best 2 minutes of the year for Seattle thus far, led them to the game-winning score. That's their only loss. And this 4 out of 5 stretch started with P.J. Walker helping lead them to a win over the Niners. So there you have it when we play the schedule game. And as you could tell, it's a bunch of teams. The Steelers today, this Sunday are also 6-3. Then there's a bunch of teams there that are right around 5-5, 4-5. So. But Mark, if you're a playoff team, you find a way to win those games. You do. And Mike, I'm going to count on somebody here, whether it's Houston, Indianapolis, the Raiders, Denver. I mean, Mark, maybe Denver's this year's Detroit. Detroit was 1-6 when they started their run last year. Denver was 1-5. 2 years ago, Philly was 2-5 before they began their run. I mean, maybe one of these teams is this year's Lions. And maybe we shouldn't discount the Raiders or the Broncos. Who knows? Or the Texans. Gardner Minshew and the Colts. Who the knows?
It's fascinating to look at all of these teams, but I don't think there's anyone who, Denver is the interesting case study because of all the teams you talked about, they may have the right elements to go on a run. They've got the coach, they've got the quarterback with some pedigree, even though I'm not a Russ guy. But that's talking about a hell of a run to go from 1-4 to get to 10. Well, that's where 9 would have to be the number.
Well, it's not only 1-4. I mean, hell, one of the 4, they gave up 70. 70. And now here they are beating the Chiefs and the Bills back to back. I mean, this league's messed up sometimes. You do have to acknowledge that, right?
Oh, it's messed up all the time.
This is what college football doesn't have, by the way. And it's a question we keep asking because there's many of you that are more of a Saturday fan than a Sunday fan. Are you going to be okay if Saturdays become Sunday? I mean, what is it we say about Sunday? Any given Sunday. It's not how we feel about Saturday. Are you kidding me? I mean, what was the stat that came out last week about the preseason top 15 and what their record is in games, when they're favored by more than a touchdown? Like they've lost less than a handful of games this year. I mean, hell, look at what we have happen every damn week in the NFL. You going to be okay, Ohio State fan, when you go 8-4?
Yeah, we had one college game in the NFL this week. It was the Cowboys and the Giants.
Right.
And those are an anomaly when you get a spread that big and the fact that the team not only takes the spread but covers it convincingly. That's every week in college football.
Although I will say this, if you go by point spread, I mean, the Jags are 7-point favorites, but the Dolphins are 13.5. The Commanders are 9.5. The Niners are 11.5 over Tampa Bay. Dallas is 10.5 on the road. Detroit's 7.5. Buffalo is 7. Okay, I'm going to say it again. The Bills are 0-6 in their last 6 games against the number. Take that for what it's worth. It's not very often I advocate betting money on a team quarterbacked by Zach Wilson, but I don't know. That seems like a trend.
If Ken Dorsey was still there, you'd have to make the bet. I just wonder if the offense is going to finally do something.
Wrong defense to be expecting them to line up and do something again.
You're right.
I mean, that defense single-handedly beat them, picked him off 3 times in the second half.
He's an interception machine right now.
He definitely is channeling his inner Brett Favre. He keeps both teams in the games at all times. He's got a little Jameis in him, doesn't he? Josh Allen? I mean, more athletic, but I mean, he's, when Jameis showed it again against Minnesota. Came off the bench, needed about 15 minutes, and then a bunch of incompletions. And then for a half an hour, oh my goodness, Jameis was amazing. And then, he
started until the point where he completed a pass to the other team.
And then he, found the team in purple. And his team wears gold. So, but this league is fun. It ain't boring. I'll tell you that. It ain't boring. Because we have no blankety-blank idea what's going to happen.
No, not certainly. Not month to month, not even week to week anymore. There's no rhyme or reason to what goes on in the National Football League. In a divisional week with a lot of good games, a lot of high spreads. So this will bring us more. And it starts tonight. Cincinnati, a lot of people think this is a must-win game for the Bengals, and they are terrible in prime time. Kirk Cousins looks at the Bengals and goes, wow, these guys struggle in prime time.
Ouch. Ouch. You went there. Wow.
0-13?
Yeah, I didn't say you were inaccurate. I'm just saying you went there.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When choosing something of high value and personal significance, such as a diamond, you want to shop with the best. And the mall is not the place to be. Here are my friends, Jason and Todd with the Diamond District.
Take a stroll in the mall, pop into a few Joy stores, and you'll soon discover you're in the wrong place. Rings begin to look all alike. You're not finding GIA certified diamonds. You quickly realize you know more than a salesperson helping you, and all the same financing gets pushed on you.
Visit Jason and me, and you'll find America's top bridal designers dealing exclusively with the Diamond District. You'll find the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. You'll find educated sales consultants who have many years' experience and are not paid commissions.
And you'll find Todd and me in the store nearly every day, wanting to shake your hand and welcome you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Worth.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
You know, the thing about the Browns is it's not like they've been getting good quarterback play all season, and they're 6-3.
They've had some couple of crazy games too. For as good as their defense is,
yeah,
you know, they had to win 2 games in their 30s at Indy and at Baltimore. But in both those games, the other team scored points, you know, not on offense and. Rob, I know people loved him in the preseason, but I would never judge a young quarterback by the preseason. So this is why Stefanski gets paid. We'll have Andy Baskin on in 45 minutes. We'll ask him.
Again, I just think it's objectively hilarious that the two teams with arguably the 2 best defenses in the league both were like, no, we don't need to shore up the quarterback room at the trade deadline. We're good. I mean, football fans, just as a football fan, you're just robbed.
Just think about how sexy the next week would be in the NFL. The Jets, Cleveland, anybody else. I mean, whether it's Ryan Tannehill, whether it's, I mean, quite frankly, they're not sold on Heineke in Atlanta. You might be able to pry Heineke away from the Falcons. I mean,
yeah. Sidebar, I saw some crazy stat about Tim Boyle, the Jets' current backup. I think he threw more picks than touchdown passes in college or something like that, and somehow made his way to the NFL because he's Rodgers' buddy. I don't know if that's true or not, but wouldn't surprise me, I guess.
Well, he backed up Rodgers for a couple years in Green Bay.
Yeah, and then now he's with the Jets, probably for that reason, because otherwise I don't think he would.
Oh, no. When Rodgers retires, there's like 4 guys that are going to be released within like 48 hours.
Randall Cobb.
Lazard. I loved the Jets yesterday. Why'd you cut Michael Carter? Because apparently the room's not very happy about it. Apparently he was a popular guy. And they're like, you know, we just couldn't have him sit on the bench any longer. We thought it was unfair to him. Oh. Really? Basically, they made it sound like it was a humanitarian thing to do. Huh. Okay.
So ridiculous.
They're trying to prevent a mutiny at the gate is what they're trying to do. Got the defensive players looking at Salah going, there aren't many guys on that side of the ball we like.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Bad enough you weren't playing them. How's that Dalvin Cook signing going?
Oh.
Thank God the Dolphins didn't get him.
And yet the Jets are just hanging around. All right, here we go.
Stop it.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Trent Bally and the play of the day coming up in a half a dozen minutes. Hey, you know what we don't have this weekend? A good college football slate. I mean,
you know what? We don't have a lot of weekends. A good college football slate. It stinks when it's November, but there's been a lot of that this year. Seems that it's feast or famine, David.
My hope is if there's one good thing that can come out of these super conferences, you should have more good conference games.
Should.
Like, listen, CBS begged for years. It's ironic that CBS gets Georgia at Tennessee this Saturday in the final year of their deal in a very bad breakup between the network and the league. Because this has been the dark hole weekend on the CBS SEC schedule, well, certainly for the 18 years that I've been helping do the games. I mean, some of the games we've done this weekend have just been horrendous because literally this is let's schedule somebody who's not even a Division I team weekend because we're getting ready for rivalry week next week. And so let's schedule a cupcake. And instead, it's Georgia, Tennessee. Oh, okay, thanks. But, I mean, you do have the Kansas battle out of nowhere. Both programs have gotten good lately. So Kansas, K-State, they're both ranked. Okay. Washington, Oregon State. I mean, that's almost.
That's the best game of the weekend.
That's Saturday night, 7:30 ABC. You know how I feel about my Beavers. I so desperately, it's not going to happen. I so desperately want one of those two teams that are being left behind to win the Pac-12 championship. I so desperately want it to happen.
The championship and all the money?
Everything.
Well, I mean, it looks as if they've got all the money.
Yes.
Things are working out well in regards to how the conference is being dismantled for Oregon State and Washington State.
I mean, it's asking a lot. And Oregon State blew a game earlier this year in conference, and it's really coming back to cost them. Okay, but I mean, Oregon State's only got Washington and Oregon to end the year. I mean, no big deal or anything. They just have to win them both to get in the Pac-12 title game and then beat one of those two teams again. I mean, it's no big deal or anything. But I honestly would, I'd empty a credit card just for the post. I mean, what's going to be more awkward? The Pac-12 commissioner having to hand the trophy to either Oregon State or Washington State, or Tony Petitti having to hand it to Michigan.
It's B all day long.
Mark wants it too.
Oh, yes. Absolutely. I want it.
Makes me sick. The thought makes me sick.
Quickly, I got to get this out. I apologize. Cincinnati is not 0 for their last 14 primetime games. They're 0 for their last 14 road primetime games. My phone blew up. The text line blew up. I apologize, Bengals fans. You have won primetime games at home. You are 0 for you are Kirk Cousins on the road for primetime games. My apologies to Bengals Nation.
Gotcha.
Who day?
It's an Andy Dalton, Marvin Lewis thing. It's not a Joe Burrow, even though Joe Burrow probably is.
Joe's 0-4 on the road.
But still, it's largely from the past regime.
You know, like Alabama's hosting Chattanooga. Florida State's hosting North Alabama. Ole Miss is playing Louisiana Monroe. You get the idea. It's one of those weeks. LSU is playing Georgia State. You know, these are the games. Like, we accept this in college basketball in November. You know, you got to get the games on the schedule, and, you know, guys got to get in shape, and, you know, whatever. We accept it in early to mid-September, right?
Exactly.
But come on now. It's the third weekend in November.
For the most part, this is an SEC thing this time of year. The rest of the conferences are playing conference games right now. It's not entirely an SEC thing, but it is largely an SEC thing.
Okay. Well, hopefully Oklahoma and Texas joining, they'll have to, you know, make things better.
David, we put a poll question up early in the show.
Mm-hmm.
In honor of Draymond Green putting Rudy Gobert in a chokehold. Do you
Stop.
want
just honestly, just stop. If you want to know what makes Miller and Moulton tick, how many poll questions on shows in the country start with, Mark, could you read that again?
In honor of Draymond Green putting Rudy Gobert in a chokehold,
comma,
do you want to put anyone in a chokehold at your Thanksgiving dinner? 63% of you voted with me and do not want to put anyone in a chokehold.
Wow. Still early.
It is still early, but what I've found fantastic, David, is some of the answers we've gotten on the text line. Because they've not only answered the poll question, they have determined who it is that they want to choke.
Yes! And they're willing to say it out loud? That's fantastic.
This person says, it's just me and my wife. The answer is no, but I hope hers is as well. And this guy says, my wife's rich racist uncle. We've had words several times. Chokehold, yes, please.
Rich racist uncle.
Nothing says Thanksgiving.
Right, like the rich racist uncle that you have to be nice to who decides he's going to stay for the Cowboys game. That's fantastic. All right. I'm a yes, by the way, but I said I would not do it as aggressively as Draymond, but I'm still a yes. Oh, yeah.
You don't know who you're choking yet, though, but someone's getting choked out at the Thanksgiving dinner.
Oh, I know who, but I'm not going to say it.
I know you're not going to say. I know who it is, too, because, well, 13 people are coming to your house, and I know you didn't invite them.
And there's only chairs for 12, so somebody's got to be choked.
It's the only way everybody can sit down for dinner.
Yep. Got to be done.
Time now for our play of the day. Trent Bally has it for us. Trent, what do you have?
We go to the United Center in Chicago, where the Bulls and Magic are tied 94-all. Magic have an inbound play with 7.5 seconds, and they went to last year's Rookie of the Year, Paolo Banchero.
They have no timeouts left. Have to get the ball in. Clock winding down. Paolo Banchero is going to back down Caruso. Paolo goes to work. The right-handed hook in the way is good. It drops through. Paolo Banchero, the big fella.
Patrick Williams then misses a heave, and the Magic get the win, 96-94. Magic moved to 6-5 on the year. Banchero leads all scorers in that game with Zach LaVine at 19. Bulls are shopping him, by the way. They dropped to 4-8. Magic cover plus 2.5, and the over-under of 215.5, way under. And that is your play of the day from the association.
Look at the Magic getting a little love.
Well,
they're frisky, 6-5.
Hey, they're going to be in the play-in. I said it before the season. They're not going to be one of the top 6 in the East, but they are going to be somewhere between 7 through 12. They're going to get a best of one or two or situation to try to play their way in to lose in the first round.
David, they might win the in-season tournament.
Oh, please. Okay. You know what? I like him. I do. I like him a lot. If he says it again, I want you to stab him in the neck.
I'll just put him in a Draymond chokehold.
Thank you. Unbelievable.
Drag him right out of that chair.
Take
him down the hallway.
Mark's going to jump through this glass that's not that thick because we can actually talk through it, even though you're not supposed to be able to do that.
Speaking of the in-season tournament, there was some discussion. So Draymond gets 5 games. Is that 5 normal games? Does that count the in-season tournament games? Turns out it does. Apparently, like a week from Friday, they're playing an in-season tournament game, and he'll have to sit it out. I know. Hey, they did it to themselves. They deserve it. They do. Roy Cummings. Talk about the Tampa Bay Bucs. Coming off a win. Next.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Myers.
The waterways of Naples are a beauty to behold, and the Bayfront Inn has multiple ways for guests to enjoy the water and have some fun. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn. Something for everyone. On 5th Avenue in Naples.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
It was windy here yesterday.
Was it?
I mean, like tropical storm type winds, windy. No name storm, but it was blowing yesterday.
Did you play?
No, it rained all day.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was dark and rainy and cool here.
Morning, Roy.
Hey guys, how we doing?
Doing great.
Glad to hear it.
How's life treating everybody?
Pretty well. So I had a moment last night when I realized how old I am.
Okay.
So I knew Blake Snell was going to win the NL Cy Young, but I thought Strider of the Braves would be a finalist.
Yeah, I did too.
He won 20.
Yeah.
No one else in baseball won 20. I don't think anyone else won 19. I'm not sure if anyone else won 18.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And he wasn't even a finalist. When did wins and RBIs not matter, Roy? I had an argument with myself last night in which I'm like, man, I'm old. Okay, you can't do 20 wins and they go, nah, I'd rather have the 14-win guy with better analytics.
It's been a slow and steady fall to the point where we're at now where, it's all got to do with how much they use bullpens. I mean, I think you have to go probably 5, 6, I don't know if it's as many as 10 years, but certainly like the last 6, 8 years, it's just kind of slowly gone to where, if the starter's only going to go 5 innings or even 4, they just don't value it that much. Kind of sad, really.
Well, I think it also changed. Remember Felix, the one year he went like 13-12, but they gave him the Cy Young.
Right.
DeGrom won it one of his 2 years. The Mets were awful.
Yeah, that'll do it.
And he only won like 13 games or whatever.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was my old guy.
Yeah,
moment.
and I thought Snow was going to win it too, but I was shocked Strider wasn't in the mix. $21 is quite an achievement these days.
You concerned about the Lightning?
Well, not concerned. Yeah, I guess I would be. I mean, if I'm a fan, I'm concerned, and because they got issues and they go deeper than goaltending and they go deeper than Kucherov being sick.
Well, they're not scoring.
No, they're not. It's they've kind of lost their way a little bit, and
Well, you can't keep losing good players out of your back six every year. And
yeah. And even though they've replaced them, look, I don't think the guys they replaced them with are bad players. Tanner Genoza, he's a good player. Connor Sheary, they all bring, very good things to the team, but it's just not the same. It's just not the same. Yeah, it's I don't know that they can. Well, let's see what it looks like when Vasilevsky comes back. But I think we found out that John Cooper not quite the coach that we all thought he was when they were winning a lot, because he hasn't been able to adjust to this. Don't forget, he's always had great goaltending.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes before the top of the hour. Andy Baskin will join us from Cleveland. The Browns having to deal with the Deshaun Watson injury. We're an hour away from taking your fantasy football questions for the doctor making his weekly house call, Dr. Roto. Don't send them in now. We'll take them about midway through next hour. Roy Cummings, kind enough to join us once again, covering the Tampa Bay Bucs. Follow him on Twix, Twitter/X at rcummingsfhcn, rcummingsfhcn. Hey, we get to talk to you after a win when they look like a decent football team. What's this going to be like?
Yeah, how about that, huh? I knew they had it in them. Don't know if they'll have it in them this week, but look, I've said all along, I think this is I think it's a pretty good football team. I think they've got everything you need to win and win consistently. They've got everything you need to go deep into the playoffs. I don't know if they can get to the Super Bowl, but all the elements are there. It's a matter of putting it all together and, getting a little bit of something out of your running game, which I think they figured that out by now. Hopefully you got to get Rachaad White in space. You've got to blitz young quarterbacks, even veteran quarterbacks. And look, that's what we talked about last week was where was that? Where was that 2 weeks ago? And I think Todd Bowles realized, why do we go away from our identity? That's who we are. I may not feel as comfortable with my secondary as I'd like to, but I've got to leave them out there on an island because I've got to go after the quarterback. in different ways, and that's what they did. And I think they just, and it worked for them. It worked for them. That's their element. That's them in their element defensively. And I think if they continue to do that, they'll have more success than failure.
Well, Roy, you alluded to where I wanted to go. This game, you can chalk it up to a lot of different things, but to me, it was a Todd Bowles game. He was questioned after the way the defense played, the way the secondary gave up the late touchdown and gave up several touchdowns, and how good Stroud was a couple of weeks ago, that there were questions of whether or not he could lead this team into the future. And I thought he coached as good of a game as he could, given the circumstances they were under, and get a little confidence in this team. They needed a Todd Bowles game, didn't they?
Yeah, they really did. And they just needed it, again, I think, to kind of confirm, well, okay, this is what we do, and it's okay. We can win this way. Sure, it's risky. You're gonna get burned at some point, particularly against a veteran. You could get burned with the blitz the way you do. It's happened to them before, and it'll happen again. But still, that's who they are. And again, we continue to see flashes of really good play out of guys like Elijah Cansey, who I'm liking an awful lot. I mean, Winfield is an all-pro player. The talent is there. It's there at every level. We know about the linebacking core. The talent is there at every level on that defense. Listening to Levante David this week, just saying, if we all just do our jobs, we're going to be fine. That's an old mantra in the NFL, but it really applies to the Buccaneers. If everybody does their job and they run the scheme that they run best and are best out of, which is that blitzing scheme, they're going to be fine. They're going to be successful. They'll give up some yards. They'll give up some plays. They'll give up some points. But more often than not, they'll be successful. And I think the offense is enough to keep up with it.
Well, you said they've figured out their running game. I would split hairs with you. They finally did what you wanted them to do. They've committed to trying. The last couple weeks, their rushing attempts have been, in line with their passing attempts. But if we take Baker's 3, scrambles for 12 yards out of it, they're averaging 2.5 yards a carry last week, 26 for 65. Their longest run is 11 yards. And it's why, Roy, we think they can win the division. We think they got 4 division games left. We think they can sweep them. We just don't know, the Philly, San Francisco, Dallas, Detroit,
Right.
I mean, you can't run the ball the way they're running the ball and beat a good team, if you know what I mean.
No, I know exactly what you mean. And that's why this week is a big test of all that again. It's a test of everything, but to me, it's more a test of can they run the ball against an elite defense themselves. And, I think they can't. Look, the problem is still up front more than anything. Rachaad White is not – he's not ready to be an all-pro. He's not a that caliber of player yet. Maybe he'll get there. We'll see. But if you get him out in space, as I said, and you can't do it every time. Here's the thing. You can't get him out there in space all the time. You've got to run him into the line, him and Edmonds as well. You've got to run these guys into the line every once in a while, but the line's got to give you something. And right now it's not. And it's why, don't be surprised. Matt Filer's coming back this week, but I think he'll get a helmet on Sunday. But if I'm coaching that offensive line, Aaron Stinney's starting for me because I think they've been just a tad better with Aaron Stinney in there than they have with Filer. And again, that the middle of that line is where they've got to start getting some more push if they're going to get this running game going. And they've got to get it going because you got to commit to running it between the tackles at some point before you pop it outside. So let's see what happens. Again, if they're more committed to it, and in games like last week, you get late in the game, you wear a team down, especially if you're at home. You can pop that big one here and there, and then of course the numbers look better. But I think it's in them. They're not there yet, but I think they can figure it out.
He's Roy Cummings, talking Tampa Bay Bucs, as we have for many a year. Follow Roy on Twix, Twitter/X at rcummingsfhcn, rcummingsfhcn.
Roy, and the one thing they really didn't do in the win, if we're going to nitpick, obviously we just talked about the running game, but they didn't get the screen game going as well, which they've been so effective of getting White in the screen game. Roy, I don't know how they stand a chance against San Francisco unless the screen game's going. The way that defensive front played against Jacksonville, it seems that the screen game's going to have to be effective if the Bucs are going to have any chance against the Niners.
Yeah, no doubt about that. I agree with you. Look, it wouldn't surprise me at all if we found out, somewhere down the line that Dave Canales just decided, you know what, I'm not going to show them that tape. They're not going to get that tape. They're not going to get that on tape off this last game. You want to look at it from 3 games ago? Fine, it's there. But maybe they've been working on something else, and they're going to, that's going to pop up. If they're smart, that's what they will have been doing here, preparing for this a little bit in advance. But they've had a lot of things to work on, and as we just talked about, just getting the push from the line and getting it, getting things going between the tackles has to be job one. I think they're confident in their screen game, and probably felt like they didn't need it last week, and it turns out they didn't. So, but I won't be surprised at all if they do it this week. And you know what? We're probably going to see some throws right to the split end and those outside screens. I wouldn't be surprised to see some of that stuff. Throws along the line. Just get the ball in the hands of the playmakers and let them make plays against these guys. That's one way to that you can kind of get at San Francisco and get the ball down the field a little bit.
DC in our Twitch chat room has a specific question about Cody Mauch, the second-round pick out of North Dakota State. How do you feel the guard is holding up so far?
He's done all right. I think, look, I like his tenacity, and he's showing that he's clearly more comfortable now. You're starting to see his personality come out a little bit here and there. Saw it last week. He got into a little bit of a tussle. He was ready to take somebody on, and he backed away smartly. But look, I think he's going to be fine. People think guard is an easy position to play. It's not. You're mano a mano every play, and usually, especially against a veteran, you're up against somebody who knows every tendency and knows every trick. And if you don't know those tricks, you're going to be behind the sticks a little bit. So that's where he is. And but he's coming around. He's coming around. I like him.
Well, and Mark, think about how challenging it's going to be for Mauch in passing situations, because now with the abundance of D linemen, they're going to be moving. Chase Young now is lining up over guards.
I don't know how this line. To me, it's everything, Roy. I mean, if you're going to pull the upset off, you've been talking about how poor the line's been playing. It's been banged up. They're going to have their best game. I mean, the only way to win this game is for that offensive line to probably have their best game of the year, isn't it?
You're right. And, here's the thing. It was hard to expect much out of this offensive line to begin with because it is so young. Look, Tristan Wirfs is still young. He plays like he's been at it for 14 years, but he's so young. And Luke Gedeke over at another position, very young, very cocky, probably needed to be humbled a little bit. I think he has been. He's getting a little bit better game by game, but especially in the middle. Robert Hainsey, couple of years in the league. Cody Mauch, a rookie. Filer, certainly nowhere near. I mean, just a guy, really. Just a guy. Why Aaron Stinney will probably play this week. They need Aaron Stinney's veteran presence, if you ask me, because I think that makes them a little bit better. And that's the thing. This line is so young that maybe 2 years from now, this will be a strength. Right now, it's far from that, but it's a work in progress. And that's unfortunate because this team is ready to win now with everything else that they've got. It's the one area where they're weakest. They knew that would be the case, but it's also an area that's very hard to find depth. And, usually the depth is young, not old.
They had 4 sacks Sunday. I mean, let's face it, we've been talking for a couple of years here, even when they were a championship contender with Brady. The D-line hasn't necessarily gotten the necessary pressure. They've had to blitz to do it. We figured they would blitz this rookie quarterback after getting nothing going against Stroud. But that, to me, Roy, they were able to, hold the team to under 50% completion, which in the NFL nowadays is a stunning accomplishment, and they sacked them 4 times. I mean, that's about as good, really, as you can play defense now in the NFL.
Yeah, it really is. And look, the thing that I have noticed the most, we know they've got pretty good pass rushers, obviously, in Shaq Barrett. Tryon Shinka can get there here and there. But who's really standing? Obviously, Vita Vea. Who's starting to stand out? Elijah Cansey.
There we go, baby.
Elijah Cansey. That is going to turn out to be a really good pick. Look, he's still figuring things out. He's still playing off a raw talent. They might have a couple of schemes lined up for him every game. And if that's the case and that's when he's winning, well, then good for them. But here's the thing. You're seeing him in that backfield 2, 3, 4 times a game, guys. That's an elite level player. And even if he only plays 35 snaps, those are going to be 35 good snaps.
He's too quick for guards.
Yes,
heading
exactly.
into the draft, Mark and I were, I was really pounding the table with both arms, but we both were talking about this was a guy we're like, man, if he could fall to the Bucs.
Well, and they're going to need it because Brock Purdy's really good against the blitz. So what they did last week against Tennessee isn't necessarily going to work against San Francisco. When you have the weapons that Purdy has, it's certainly, not everybody has those type of weapons to get rid of the ball in so many different directions. So they're going to have to get pressure with 4, Roy.
Yeah, they will. And I think they're going to try to do it a little bit more, at least early on in this game, and see if it works. As long as Kalijah Cansey, look, again, coming off an injury, he's probably not even 100% yet. But we're starting to see, oh, man, you guys were right. I remember, draft week, you guys were all over this. And kudos to you because you nailed it. You absolutely nailed it. I mean, I like what I saw on paper and, a little bit, the clips from college that I saw here and there. But I was always, will it translate to the NFL? Can he beat a veteran guard? And you know what? He's beating those veteran guards again, just so quick.
There are just some players that, because his measurables, he's too small.
Yeah.
Okay. To play defensive tackle. And, Roy, we were saying he's a poor man's John Randall. John Randall's in the Hall of Fame.
Yes,
I mean, a poor man's John Randall's a hell of a career. And we'll see if physically he can hold up playing inside, but his quickness for his position is terrific. Roy, as always, it's terrific that you make time for us. We really appreciate it. Enjoy your weekend, and let's do it. Listen, we'll work something out next week because obviously Thursday's Thanksgiving. And, Roy, we ask a lot of you, but we really don't ask you to come on Thanksgiving.
That's okay. If you need me on Thanksgiving, I'll be here if you need me.
Wow.
If you need me.
Man,
but you won't be there, so
we won't be here.
There you go.
He knows when he's saying, this guy's been doing it too long to see. He just slipped. If you need me Thanksgiving, I'll be there.
Yeah, if you need me.
Knowing you two aren't working.
He's Roy Cummings.
You caught that, huh?
Talking Tampa Bay Bucs. Follow him on Twix, Twitter/X at rcummingsfhcn. Roy, all the best.
Thanks, guys.
But we are doing a show the day after Thanksgiving.
We are.
We are doing a Black Friday
show. It's going to be a doozy because I gave Trent the day off. I'm running the board. I'm running the ship on Black Friday.
Okay.
We need him at Christmas because we're both going to be gone. So we need someone in studio around the Christmas holidays to do those shows.
Is this going to cost you your friendship with his dad?
No, this is enhancing my friendship with his dad because he booked his ticket home. His only decision right now is whether or not he's going to the Lions game on Thanksgiving.
Oh, that's right. He's a season ticket holder.
Right.
Oh, yeah. So, he's definitely going to go to the game.
It's a hard decision to make because you see the number. And you know what? I will admit, the Lions have never won on Thanksgiving when I go. So I might,
just in. They haven't been very good. This ain't a you thing, okay? It's not. Come on. It's the Packers on Thanksgiving. You're really not going to go?
I'd sell it.
Wow. Look at you.
I'd sell it and spend time with the family. Now, if you go, does the whole family go?
No.
Or is it just you and your brother?
Just me and my brother. My one brother.
See, you got Thanksgiving. He's moved away now.
Yeah.
What a decision. Miller and Moulton. It could be worthy of another poll question. We'll let the audience decide whether or not Trent goes to see the Lions play on Thanksgiving. Thanks for listening, Miller and Moulton.
Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here.
Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples.
BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Life Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlifetransportation.com.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
The waterways of Naples are a beauty to behold, and the Bayfront Inn has multiple ways for guests to enjoy the water and have some fun. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn. Something for everyone. On 5th Avenue in Naples.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Well, not only that, Adam, he can place plenty of bets in Michigan.
Yeah, a couple of things I got to address in the chat room before I call Andy. Here's the dilemma. It's like now that I live here and you guys are gracious enough to give me Black Friday off, I'm only going home for like 3 days. And I probably won't be home again until who knows?
Right.
Because I'm going to be here for Christmas, which is totally fine. But so it's like I want to go spend as much time as possible with the family because it's a quick turnaround. I'm flying.
Yeah, no, we get it.
Saturday.
We get it.
However, it would be probably an unparalleled atmosphere in Ford Field. Since I've been at since
Wait,
we got
hold on a second. When are you flying back?
Wednesday after the show.
No. But when are you coming back? Saturday. Why so early?
Tickets and money.
Tickets were a lot cheaper Saturday than Sunday.
Gotcha.
Like a lot. I mean, it was jarring, the difference. It's so weird. Just a crapshoot.
Oh, yeah, it's Thanksgiving.
No, it makes sense, but it was just weird, the disparity between Saturday and Sunday, because people want that extra day.
You mean you didn't want to try the drive again?
Oh, my gosh. If I did that.
We'd never see him again.
I'm 0 for 2 driving down here. When I came down here to get trained, my car broke down. And then when I came down here 3 weeks ago, my car broke down. So.
You think it's the car? I mean, I'm not that smart, but
I don't know how I started getting these, David, but I started getting emails from Sport and Story Daily. They come at 4:46 in the morning, and they're fantastic.
Huh. My mom votes that you spend time with the family.
Good vote.
Spoken like a mom.
I mean, that's what's going to happen. I can sell these tickets and make back my entire what I paid for them. For this one game, you can make what you
for the season, pretty much.
Yep.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
I don't pay that much, really, and I'm lucky because I'm grandfathered into my rate, which I started in 2019. So it was nothing.
They don't raise your ticket prices.
They do, but it's not nearly.
Oh, wow.
As much as, because we're also, you got to know, we're 300 level. We're not
All right.
We're not club level.
Now remember, you can sell those first playoff tickets too. Will go for a premium.
Yeah. We'll cross that bridge.
You guys start looking at. You guys are looking at January flights now.
I might have to be there for that.
That's a Friday. Well, you sell these tickets enough to pay for your plane ticket for a playoff game.
Yeah.
Look at it that way.
Yeah, there you go.
Because you can fly. That's when you fly Spirit right to Detroit, and you have your brother pick you up. No,
Yeah.
seriously.
No, seriously.
Out the next day.
Yeah.
Probably will.
Yeah.
Got to win the division first. Okay, I'm going to call Andy.
Either that or I'm telling Cassie to come in and run the board for the Black Friday show, the one-day reunion show.
To get out of the house, he might do it. Although, to get him in the building,
If no one would be here.
Right. That's true. God, that's funny. That's hysterical.
I just text him.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the 8 o'clock hour, the third and final hour along the network of Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. 35 minutes from now, the doctor makes his weekly house call, Dr. Roto, to answer your fantasy football questions. So start percolating, start thinking about them, and then, in about 15 minutes or so, start sending them in. Text line 21,000, Twitch chat room. Then this way we can keep them all together. It's easier for us to then ask him of the, doc when he comes on in about 35 minutes. I don't know how you guys are doing fantasy football this year with all the injuries. Honestly, I have no idea how you're doing it. It seems, I know, like there's usually like 60-something quarterbacks who start every year. It just seems as if we're further down the depth chart with quarterbacks than we even normally go.
Will Levis is my backup right now, David.
See?
Smith is my starter. I had Kirk Cousins, and he was just fine.
I mean, think about it. We're going to have Tommy DeVito and Dorian Thompson-Robinson start this week. Mac, good thing the Patriots are off this week because it looks like Mac Jones is getting benched. It's another reason why to move the damn trade deadline. I mean, Tennessee would be shopping Ryan Tannehill. I think the Patriots would be shopping Mac Jones. It sounds like they're done with him. Story yesterday that said the locker room's done with him, which is interesting because he was a very popular guy at Alabama. Waited his turn behind Hurts and Tua. Very popular guy. So apparently
doesn't even get us what's going on in Vegas. I mean, on and on with the quarterback play throughout this league.
So Andy Baskin is kind enough to join us, and we owe Andy an apology before we start because we always bring Andy on. We bring you on, and usually something bad has happened in Cleveland sports. And we were going to bring you on today to talk about the best Browns regular season win, certainly since the pandemic. One of the top 5 regular season wins that they've had since they've come back into the league in the last 30 years. And instead, you know what it is we have to talk to you about. So Andy Baskin, 92.3 The Fan in Cleveland. Follow him on Twix, Andy_Baskin, blah, blah, blah. But Andy, we start with an apology. How have you been?
It's always great to start my day on the Doom and Gloom show. Not really start my day off the wrong way. It's great. I always just want to turn over, roll over, and go right back to bed. So thank you. You guys make my morning and my cup of coffee every day.
All right, let's try to put a shot of whiskey in that cup of coffee and look at the glass now with some blurry eyes. Can the Browns, with whoever plays quarterback, because I think 9's enough, but can the Browns, 10 will assure you of a wild card spot. Can the Browns get 4 more wins?
I think they can get 4 more wins, but they've got to figure out what they're going to do at quarterback. I think there's a blueprint for the way the Browns can win for the rest of the season. It's not too far away. It's called Pittsburgh. Like, I'm still trying to figure out how Pittsburgh's winning with their offense. The Browns are going to be in the same kind of similar situation. The defense has been outstanding all season long, with the exception of the Ravens game, and the Seahawks figured them out early on. So the defense clearly can do this. Dustin Hopkins can kick. So if they can just get the ball across midfield and keep kicking field goals, they'll be the best 3-point team in the history of the
NFL. The decision to go with Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Talk to us. Was this a popular decision yesterday?
So Dorian Thompson-Robinson was like the greatest thing since sliced bread during the preseason. He had no problems at all. I mean, he looked like a smaller version of Deshaun Watson. You could not ask for a better complement for the offensive line and for the wide receivers than to have Dorian Thompson-Robinson in there. And everything looked good. Fans were, when I walked into the stadium before the Browns played the Ravens, and they found out that Deshaun wasn't going to play at 10:30 in the morning, and they decided to go to Dorian Thompson-Robinson, the place was absolutely electric. DTR, DTR. Man, the place was going nuts. And then they got about 2 seconds into the game, and they realized that there was no game plan for him, and everything got real ugly real quick. So I'm glad that if they're going to go with DTR, that they made the decision midweek, so they're not messing around and trying to say, well, this guy's going to start, or we're not sure, or try to play stupid games. Just tell us who the quarterback is. Let us know that he's getting reps with the first-team offense all week, and then I think there's just a much better feel of confidence for Dorian Thompson-Robinson. There's a reason they kept him on the team as the backup quarterback, and the guy who could have been the backup quarterback is absolutely lighting it up in Minnesota right now with Josh Dobbs. So they made that decision early on, and now they need to stick by that decision, and we'll see what he can do.
All right. From DTR's standpoint, what is it that he is going to bring that PJ doesn't?
If he's effective, he looks like Deshaun Watson. I mean, he can play just like him. He extends plays. He knows how to run the ball. He has a ton of college experience, but we all know how that goes, and especially when you're going up against a defense like the Steelers. So he's gonna, he can bring a little bit of electricity running the ball and extending plays, and that's what we saw in the preseason, and I think that's what we really like. But again, as someone said on our show yesterday, I think it was Chris Rose, said, having a guy look great in the preseason is like watching a guy that knows how to ride a bicycle, and then all of a sudden you give him the keys to a Ferrari, and they're like, what? What am I doing? So, the inexperience at the NFL level is the big fear. The running game has come alive since Nick Chubb got hurt, so you got to hope for the running game for the Browns.
Andy Baskin, 92.3 The Fan in Cleveland. Follow him on Twix, Twitter/X at Andy_Baskin. Andy, if the Browns pull this off, if they make the playoffs with essentially no Nick Chubb and no Deshaun Watson for half a season, I mean, I know they won a playoff game a few years ago, and it was against the Steelers in Pittsburgh and all that, but I could make the case, Andy, this would be the most impressive thing they've done in 25 years.
I don't question that at all. And, last week against the Ravens, they won without either one of their tackles. So they had, backup tackles at right and left tackle. And let's not forget Jack Conklin got hurt in the beginning of the season too. So they really have this next man up mentality. They really have this, hey, we're going to play the season one game at a time. I really think Kevin Stefanski, if they can make the playoffs, should be up for Coach of the Year. There are a lot of people that criticize him here, and I think it's just the easy thing to do is to criticize the coach. And people are still mad about the way they lost the Seattle game when on 3rd down and 3, all he had to do was run the ball, and instead he passed it, and it got deflected. The next thing you know, the tide turned, and they ended up losing a game they probably should have won. But coaches don't I don't know how a coach can plan for a ball to hit somebody in the helmet and go flying up in the air. So Kevin Stefanski, while he may not be the greatest guy at press conferences, in fact, he's super boring, he is a really, really good head coach, and I think this is a great challenge for him. And, that was not only was the win over the Ravens a signature win for Deshaun, it was a signature win for Kevin Stefanski because, our phones would light up. Kevin Stefanski's horrible. His play calling's this. Why is he doing? I mean, just second guessing the fact that he woke up and had tea instead of coffee in the morning. Oh, I heard he had tea this morning. And people just that's all they want to do is complain about him. And I haven't heard a peep from them since the win over Baltimore.
What is the feeling going forward with Watson? Did he, in that second half, and now finding out just how injured he was, how hurt he was playing in that game, did he basically become the Browns quarterback, starting next year, that he's the guy and everybody's now behind him, where there may have been questions before that? Or does he have to prove it again because of the injury?
So I think inside the Browns, there's no question he's the guy. I mean, that's just the way it is. That's the way it was before. It didn't matter who was playing quarterback, whether he was injured or not. He is the guy. The Browns, I mean, cap-wise, they can't walk away from him. They need him to be healthy next year. There are all kinds of issues going on financially for the Browns, and not to mention that you're sitting and watching the rewards in Houston with C.J. Stroud of what they were able to do with the draft picks and what they were able to do with the trade on their end. I mean, Houston's now suddenly in the playoffs. They look really good. They're moving in the right direction. And the receipt on the Browns end of that, or the return on investment, it doesn't look very good right now. So the Browns are 100% vested in him as an organization moving forward, hoping that he gets through, everything that he needs to get through as far as rehab is concerned. I will say this, that, Brady Quinn called him out earlier in the year for essentially being soft for not playing with a micro tear and saying at the last minute he wasn't going to play. Brady should be eating his words. The guy went 14 for 14, ran the ball with a high ankle sprain, and had a busted bone in his shoulder, and went 14 for 14. So anybody that thought Deshaun Watson was soft needs to get their head examined.
It's Steelers hate week, though, right? I mean, this is the game. If you say to a Browns fan, you've got one win the rest of the year, this would be it, right?
I don't know. It hasn't hit. I'll be honest with you. Normally it'd be like, okay, Steelers, and there'd be all this artificial, oh, there's a rivalry, oh, this, oh, there's that. The Deshaun news yesterday just sent absolute shockwaves, and everything's been about Deshaun. And so normally, and maybe today is when the day starts picking up and everyone's like, oh, I hate the Steelers. It comes out in full verbiage and, throw away your terrible towels. And, we're tired of seeing people from Pittsburgh come into Cleveland and take over the stadium. But it hasn't really kicked in yet because people wanted to celebrate the win over the Ravens. I think fans are concerned. Like fans, I legitimately were calling in saying, hey, we're one of the best teams in the AFC. We've got a chance to go deep into the playoffs. Maybe this is our year for the Super Bowl. And then, boom, we can't have nice things. So the quarterback gets hurt, and now all of a sudden you're going to go to a rookie and try to finish this thing out for the rest of the season. It's always a roller coaster ride here in Cleveland. A lot of people think the franchise is just jinxed, and I don't believe in any of that stuff. They just need to come out and play this week and take it one game at a time.
Well, we meant it when we said we'd like to apologize to you. We really were going to bring you on, or try to bring you on, to talk about the best regular season win in 25 years. We really were. This is not our fault.
It's not your fault. You keep telling yourself that. It's not your fault. I can't wait to hear the jingle. Doom and gloom in the morning. Right? That's coming.
Andy Baskin, not doom and gloom middays, 92.3 The Fan in Cleveland. Follow him on Twix, Twitter/X at Andy_Baskin. We're sorry. We love you.
It's okay. We love you in Cleveland too. Send us some good news. How about just some weather? How about just a few 70-degree days in the middle of February? That's a fair trade, right?
That's a very fair trade. We'll do our best.
Yes.
Okay. See you guys.
Thanks, Andy.
Instead, what we're going to end up sending him is sweatshirts with a bunch of Florida cities on them and say, this is the best we can do.
Andy Baskin joining us here on Miller and Moulton. Time to start getting your questions ready for the good doctor. He makes his house call in 25 minutes right here on Miller and Moulton.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologist, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
I text Andy, thanks, and said, no, really, we're sorry. He's like, haha, too funny. Trent, do you ask Roto any fantasy questions when you get them on?
I have not, but
Because
I mean,
Felipe was famous for calling everyone late. He would just talk through
Like
the
you
breaks.
just said. Before I call Andy, let me get this.
Dude,
in.
I was sweating over here. He couldn't hear us. I don't know why. Eventually, it just started working, but he was like, hello.
1979 8-track. He just got it pounded on the side.
I was like, Mark's going to jump through the glass and kill me. But no, I haven't. I have not asked Dr. Roto any questions yet.
Felipe he'd call everybody late. Like the segment would start and we'd be like, so-and-so on the line. Oh, I forgot. But he'd call Roto like 3 minutes early.
And just shoot
And just fire fantasy questions at him.
That's great. I'm doing pretty good this year. I'm 8-2 in my 16-man league. So hey, that could be more money that could pay for my
there you go.
January flight home.
I'm a game out of the playoffs, but I think I still need to about run the table.
Who's your quarterback?
Geno
Smith.
Oh boy, is that boom or bust? Boom this week or last week?
Geno Smith or Will Levis?
Hello. Thought of Felipe the other day when the Heat won and Jimmy buckets with 32.
Yeah, they're on a roll.
Not sure, Ryan, if at this stage Tannehill gets you compensation or not. I think it's based on performance, backup quarterback. Probably not. Maybe a late pick. But you got something here? We could do the game. We could do the game.
I think we do the game here. Let's get the text line out. Let's get preview Roto. Let's do the poll question again.
Okay. They may send us to Seattle.
Joe Klimas. It's a good pull right there, Deadstroke.
Yeah,
that's a long time.
Wow, that's when you and I first came to town.
Yep.
Late 90s, early 2000s.
God, he used to interview Fergie between periods and always refer to the hockey team as a ball club. And Fergie would get so pissed. Why do I got to talk to this guy?
Here we go.
Oh, yeah, because he worked for the TV station.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour. Start sending us your fantasy football questions. The doctor makes his house call in a little more than 15 minutes time. Dr. Roto joins us. So if you're watching on Twitch, post them in the Twitch chat room. If you're listening, wherever you may be, send them in via the text line at 21,000. I'm serious. I don't play fantasy. I tried it for a few years, and with my schedule, I would sometimes not set my lineups, and that would bother me. So I just stopped doing it, and I have no idea how you're all doing it this year with all the injuries, particularly at quarterback. I really don't.
I really think, and I wish I could get you to do daily fantasy, because one, you don't have to do it every week, but I think you would like it because it really gets into that week's matchups. It gets into a few more things and you don't have to have the whole season. I think you'd enjoy daily fantasy.
Well, and I think you're right because I love the Super Bowl prop bets. Like this versus this, who's going to get more yards in the game, or whether or not, points scored by the Chiefs, or, points that Kobe's going to have earlier that day playing the Clippers. I used to love those prop bets. So you're probably right. But
21,000 is the text line. As David said in the Twitch chat room, let them rip. Or you can even tweet them at either of us, at the David Moulton or at that Mark Miller on X. Poll question's been up for a while.
And listen, I can guarantee you ain't getting this poll question anywhere else in the country for the next week.
Nope, there's no doubt. In honor of Draymond Green putting Rudy Gobert in a chokehold, do you want to put anyone in a chokehold at your Thanksgiving dinner?
Come on. Where else are you going to get that quality material? Huh?
39% of you are choking out a family member.
See, it keeps going up. It keeps slowly going up.
Here's the thing, people. You don't have to tell us who.
I do appreciate when you do tell us who, though.
Oh, yeah, yes. But I'm just saying. I mean, you don't have to tell on yourself. Just be honest. There's got to be more than 39% of people that want to do that.
No way. People actually like their families.
Well, of course.
We're not asking, by the way, that you're going to. We're just asking, do you want to? Okay, so, the little voice in your head. Who was the gentleman that texted you an hour ago? My rich racist uncle?
Yes, my wife's rich. And it's his wife's. That's the best part. It's not really his family. He doesn't consider that guy family. That's the guy I'm choking out. We're going at it. That's Thanksgiving. Someone's ending up with some gravy on them.
The gloves are off. That was a great response. That's text of the day for sure so far. Keep them coming.
And the only family member that I have coming that, I could is my cousin, and he's a monster. If I tried to choke him out, he'd kill me. I'm just hoping the meal's good enough that he doesn't choke anybody out.
So that's our poll question. And get your questions in for Dr. Roto, who will join us in less than 15 minutes' time.
If the Bengals lose tonight, of which they've lost their last 14 road primetime games.
Wow, that sounds like a trend.
If they lose tonight, are they done?
Well, they're not done. How about if you rephrased it? If they lose tonight, will they make the playoffs?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. I do think, and for those just joining us, Mark very early in the show said, will 9 wins be the 7 seed in the AFC? And it has been the last 2 years. I was convinced before the season started that we were going to get at least 7 teams with double-digit wins. Remember USA Today did their predictions?
Oh, yeah.
They had 10 AFC teams with 10 or more wins. 10. But right now, the Houston Texans at 5-4 are the 7 seed. You got Buffalo 5-5. You got the Chargers 4-5, and you got the Bengals 5-4, and they're at Baltimore tonight. So I don't know if we're going to get to 7 teams with double-digit wins.
If the Bengals lose, can they still make the playoffs? Do you think it's a must-win for the Bengals to get into the playoffs tonight? For the record, the Bengals after tonight have the Steelers at Jacksonville, the Colts, the Vikings, at Pittsburgh, at Kansas City, home for Cleveland.
That doesn't sound easy. Okay, but once again, how the final 3 games for a lot of teams this year, very challenging. I like it. The end of the season scheduling looks as if it's going to be just monster for the NFL. Listen, you know my love affair with Joe Burrow. So there is no, until they're mathematically eliminated, I think the answer with the Bengals is yes. There's nothing they can't do. I mean, I'm not kidding. You give me any quarterback in the league for my team, not fantasy, not any quarterback in the league for my team. That's who I would pick.
Yeah, I don't think it's a must-win tonight for the Bengals either. It would certainly help. I'll tell you this much. If they win tonight, I'll guarantee you they're in the postseason.
Ooh, look at you. I guarantee it.
Guarantee. Identical.
Baltimore 3.5-point favorite. Over under is like 46.5. So in the 24-21 range at a point and what have you. So no T. Higgins tonight for the Bengals.
Nope.
Will the Ravens really lose 2 in a row at home? Does that factor into your thinking at all? Just throwing that out there. Baltimore has played Cincinnati really well. Not always winning, but they've played them really well. They do a pretty good job against Joe Burrow.
Will they sweep Cincinnati? They won the first one.
Well, and they also last year outplayed them for most of the night in the playoff game in Cincinnati. But Hundley, their backup quarterback, gave the game away. Tie game, fourth quarter, they're going in for the go-ahead score. He fumbles on the 1, and since he gets a 99-yard fumble return and ends up winning the game. A game that Baltimore had the clear edge in play in. So I like Baltimore tonight.
I do as well. I think we're going to get a really good game.
Oh, I do too. Both teams coming off a loss. Both teams can read the standings. Oh, yeah. And they don't like each other.
Right. And Baltimore takes clear control of the division with the injuries to Deshaun Watson, they win this game tonight, they start looking at themselves like they've won the division. I know there's a lot more work to do, but it's, put Cincinnati that much down. They've beaten Cincinnati twice.
You sure, though? I do think the Steelers are always in Baltimore's head.
The Steelers are the worst damn 6-win football team I've ever seen in my life.
I understand
watch
that.
their games. They're bad.
I get it, but they're going to Cleveland this week.
I know.
Right. The last time they played Cleveland, they faced Sean Watson and Nick Chubb. Now they're not. You don't think they can go in and win a 1917 slugfest? Of course they can. And if they do, they're 7-3. And remember, they've already beaten Baltimore. So right now they have the edge on the Ravens and the whole division thing. And Pittsburgh, Mark, we've seen it. Even average Pittsburgh teams, they did it last year. Didn't Pittsburgh go into Baltimore late last year as a below 500 team and beat the Ravens? I mean, the Steelers have no problem going into Baltimore and winning. I mean, I think John Harbaugh coaches differently against the Steelers. He kind of panics against the Steelers. All right, get your questions in for Dr. Roto. He will answer them next on Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Yeah. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
46% of you want to put someone in a chokehold. It's up to 46%. Yeah, baby. I love it.
David, you'll appreciate this. I'm in a league with 15 others. I'm one of the 16 high school buddies. And there is a bunch of collusion going on with the quarterbacks because guys go down and then people in the division will just pick up all the available starters so that this other guy can't play a quarterback that week. It's ridiculous. Because with 16 teams, there's not enough quarterbacks right now for 14 team leagues, let alone 16. Right. So people have Carson Wentz on their bench and, the whole Desmond Ridder, Taylor Heineke thing is a crapshoot.
Yep. Hell, they don't know what quarterback they're going to play. So how can you?
Right.
I will say for the Twitch chat room, Roto doesn't like, choose one of more than 3 choices. Just for the record.
Yeah, it gets a little messy.
Right. Like RCB just submitted 2 out of 3. Okay. Also, just remember, I only go with the first question you submit. So, Mark, by the way, 46% now want to choke someone at Thanksgiving dinner. 46%.
People are listening to the calling.
Bunch of sick bastards.
Okay, help me out here. What wide receiver am I missing? Name's Dell. Who's Dell?
Tank Dell. Tank Dell.
Got it. Thank you. Okay.
Houston.
Swoop, I'm going with your quarterback question.
Getting creative with the burner.
Hey, I got 2 accounts. Well, if you got a different name, you can get it in there.
Yeah, come on. You told on yourself by calling it Swoop's burner. You could have just been Joe Schmo.
Look at that. Deadstroke just wants to ask a basic question. Well, the Twitch chat room came through today. I got like 10 questions. Nice job.
I'm so happy Atlanta has a bye this week, so I don't have to play Bijan Robinson.
It's sickening what they're doing with him.
I'm telling you, I think it's going to get him fired. And I actually think he's a good coach. But, I mean, what he's done with Robinson and Pitts is, I'm sorry.
Yep.
I mean, they took these guys in the top 10 for you. Top 10, both of them. A running back and a tight end. What the?
Okay, we got Dr. Roto ready to rock.
And West Coast, did you see the play he made in the Bucs game? Wait. God.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
It's that time. 22 minutes before the top of the hour. Final hour along the network on a Thursday. That means our doctor making a house call. He could be your doctor, Dr. Roto. drroto.com, DRROTO. Follow him on Twitch, Twitter/X at Dr. Roto. You can hear him, by the way, weekend mornings on SiriusXM's Fantasy Sports Radio. Good morning, Doc. How the hell are you doing with all these injuries at key positions? I mean, how are your teams holding up?
Well, it's funny. Last week I had my best week of the season. My teams exploded. So a lot of teams that were, mid-range jumped up a lot higher. But now it's about keeping that momentum. So I think what I was doing this year was drafting receivers early and then taking running backs later. And, David Montgomery was such a big part of what I was doing. And when he was injured, he was killing me. But his return just solidified my team. Chris Olave, who I drafted all over the place. And I know we talked about both these guys at the summit. Dare I say he looked a whole lot better with Jameis Winston than he looked with Derek Carr. So, football is just one of those tough games to handicap, if you will, for a lack of a better word. So it's just about getting the right guys and the right matchups. And hopefully we'll find those this week.
When you get a weekend like this, does it scare you with so many big favorites? Because that can lead to a different game flow. How do you look at weekends with big point spreads when we have, it seems like 7-8 games that are a touchdown or more?
Right. So I had a really good week in DFS last week because I was all in on the Lions-Chargers game. Because when I looked at it, I said, this game can shoot out, right? And that's what you're looking for. So when you look at it and you say Raiders-Dolphins, that doesn't feel like a game that's going to shoot out, right? It feels like the Dolphins may score, but I don't know if I see the Raiders keeping pace. But, for example, like the Cardinals and Texans, that game could shoot out, right? Kyler Murray's just good enough. The Texans' defense is okay, not great. Stroud's playing at a high level. So that's a game that you want a piece of. So what I'm telling you is, when it comes down to making those final decisions on your roster, forget DFS, just for your seasonal leagues, try to find the games where we think more points are going to be scored, because if there's more back and forth, there's more fantasy goodness.
Do you start making moves now thinking about the playoffs, or is that getting ahead of yourself?
Sadly, it's getting ahead of yourself, because what happens is next week there's no bye week, right? Nothing. And then week 14, it's only Arizona and Washington. But, man, week 13 is a bloodbath. There's like 6 teams on bye at pretty much the worst time of the year when you think about it. It's like the penultimate week before you find out whether you make the playoffs. So you can't do that if you start, making these moves and now all of a sudden week 13, you don't even have a team. So I would say probably next week, maybe you're eyeing it. Certainly in 13, you're trying to set yourself up for the rest of the way.
All right, let's get to some questions about the week. Kenneth Walker, Isaiah Pacheco, Rachaad White. Sit one of them.
I don't, it's funny. I like Pacheco, but I don't know if I like Pacheco against the Eagles. That's a tough one. White is always in play because he catches passes. We talked about him at the summit too, about how good he could be, and he's been really great. Dare I say it's Pacheco? I don't want it to be, but I think it has to be.
Well, since Kenneth Walker was mentioned, he's involved in a flex question. Gus Edwards or Kenneth Walker?
Yeah, I like Gus Edwards tonight. I think this is a game that could shoot out. And I know the Ravens are particularly good at home. I get that. But this is a divisional game. This is a game that the Bengals need. I just feel like but Gus Edwards, when they get within that 5-yard line, the Bengals can't stop anybody with the run, right? Especially a Gus Edwards type. So I think he scores.
Hurts or Stroud? Which QB are you playing, Doc?
Yeah, so, wow. That's a tough one. Could you imagine that we're saying that's a tough one? I probably want the Eagles-Chiefs game. I want as many pieces in that game as I could possibly have. So I'll probably take Hurts. But, man, that C.J. Stroud is in the conversation, guys, is incredible, except he's just got all of his receivers are questionable, so you don't even know who's playing this week. But I don't even know if it matters. He's really been surgical with how he's been performing on that offense.
Well, along those lines, Ryan in a 6-point touchdown league asked Tua or C.J. Stroud.
That one's actually a little closer. That one I might take Stroud, and the only reason why is, so if a Chan is back, I'll play Stroud. If a Chan is not playing, I'll play Tua. Because the Dolphins are scoring at least 3 touchdowns, maybe 4. But if a Chan's out on the field, he may be scoring 2 of them, and Mostert may be scoring 1 of them, right? So that's why, that guy can literally score every time he touches the football. So that's why I would go Stroud. But if a Chan is out for some reason, if he's not playing, then I think Tua's in a really good spot because, like I said, there's 4 touchdowns. And but the Raiders are not overly generous against the pass. They're a little stingy. So I do like Tyreek Hill. I just don't know if I like the rest of the team.
Well, we've had a couple questions about what to do with Achane the rest of the year. Are you all in on him the rest of the year?
You're all in on it. Always Achane. It's like never Najee, always Achane.
And he was right about that. Najee not starting this week, so he's been telling us that only since September, if you were paying attention. D-Hop, Rachaad White, Brian Robinson. Pick one for a flex.
Well, Hopkins is in a good spot. He is, and there's a really good chance that Tyson Campbell, their best cornerback, is out. So I know people don't pay attention to defensive injuries, but sometimes you have to. When the other team's best cornerback is out, then all of a sudden Hopkins looks a lot more interesting to me. I'm dying to play Robinson, but the last time Robinson played the Giants, he did nothing. Now, should that be better this time? It should be, but I'm still going to play Hopkins in a game which I think has the potential to shoot out, especially if Campbell's out.
Keith wants to know, do I play Mahomes against the Eagles or Howell against the Giants? And I do believe it doesn't Sam Howell right now lead the league in passing yards?
Yeah, Sam Howell has been really good. And the amazing thing is, and I go back to this all the time, why did they ever sign Carson Wentz for $24 million after they had Sam Howell, who was really good at UNC? He was mobile. He had a good arm. He was a very good quarterback. And now all of a sudden Ron Rivera's like, yeah, I realize he's on our team. Well, yeah, he's on our team and he's really good. So, but I'm playing Mahomes because the Eagles' pass defense is not good, and you always play Mahomes. So, look, at some point, I'd rather lose with Patrick Mahomes than without him. So I'm playing Mahomes.
Cortland Sutton or D-Hop?
You know, I think that Cortland Sutton has become Russell Wilson's best, most favorite target. And it's not Jerry Jeudy, that's for sure. And Marvin Mims is like on a milk carton. So I think it's got to be Cortland Sutton.
Well, we have a Cortland Sutton or Tank Dell question for the rest of the year. Who would you take?
Oh, I'd rather the Texans. I mean, look, the Broncos are playing better. Let's give all the credit. I mean, were you impressed, David, with how the Broncos played?
Well, I'm impressed with what they've done on the fly when you consider that they gave up 70 in week 3 and he gets rid of 2 high-priced defensive players, and now look at how they're playing. They forced 9 turnovers the last 2 weeks against the Chiefs and the Bills. I'm impressed with what they've done defensively in the last 6 weeks.
Yeah, I am too. And offensively, is he playing McLaughlin enough? No, but Javonte Williams is running better. Is he playing Marvin Mims enough? No, but Cortland Sutton's playing at a very high level. So, you know, we can obviously make a case that the Broncos are truly turning it around. But, man, Tank Dell is just a terrific receiver. The problem there, once again, Noah Brown is a good receiver, especially in zone defenses. Dell, Nico Collins didn't even play last week. Dalton Schultz. So this is a team, maybe they don't have any one star, but they have 5 guys who are all good. So Dell, to me, has more upside for the bigger plays, but Sutton should be that guy that goes like 5 for 50 each week with a chance at a touchdown.
Mark, don't the Texans remind you of the Jags last year?
100%. That's a great comparison. Foreman or Antonio Gibson for RB2?
I mean, I can't tell you Foreman against the Lions, who stopped the run really well. I don't like Gibson either. I mean, I don't like either guys. What I do like about Gibson, though, is when they're behind, like last week, they still use him in the passing game. So I think that's why you have to go there.
Swoops has a quarterback question. Trevor, Russ, or Stafford?
So let's just talk about Trevor. You mentioned the Jaguars earlier, right? Doesn't that offense look really boring? They run the same plays. Like when you watch the Lions play, every pattern, there's like, it's inventive, right? You don't even know where the ball's going. Seems like the Jaguars, everybody knows where the ball's going. And Trevor Lawrence is not playing well at all. Do I think he's going to turn it around this week? I do. I like him this week. Stafford, I love Stafford this week, but I'm also worried about his injury. Right? I am worried about his injury, and I'm worried, like, one play, and all of a sudden he's not playing anymore. So I guess I'll take Lawrence, because if you can't throw on the Titans, then there's no hope for you.
So you like Stafford this week, huh?
Yeah, I mean, look, do I think Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp can play well against the Seahawks defense? Yeah, that's another game that can So Seattle is one of those teams that is very frustrating, because if you don't play well offensively, they'll just run the ball. But if you play well offensively, they'll start throwing the ball. And that's why their games tend to shoot out a little bit, right? So I think this game is a 46 in Vegas. Easily could be a 54 by the time it's over.
Adam, Flex DFS, Do you play Singletary against Arizona or Tim Jones for the Jags?
Or who? Who the Jaguars?
He says Tim Jones. Okay,
Really?
maybe
it's Singletary, who looked like a Greek god last week.
Okay.
All right. Hunt or Cooks? Who you playing?
I think, did you know that the Browns Steelers implied total was 16.5 for the Browns and 15.5 for the Steelers? Is that like a record of futility? So I don't know. I don't think I can trust Hunt, but what I will say is I probably would start him there. They're going to throw a lot of short passes. They're going to run the ball. They're going to play really good defense. Maybe they take 1 or 2 or 3 chances down the field, but I think Hunt and Ford could have decent games.
Hey, what do you do if you had Deshaun as your starter? Who do you think you can get your hands on the rest of the way?
That's a really good question. Can you get maybe Stafford? Maybe Gardner Minshew? I mean, a lot of people probably got rid of Stafford with the injury, and he was on a bye week last week. Gardner Minshew's on a bye week this week. Could I play Zach Wilson for 1 week and then get Gardner Minshew? Maybe Kyler Murray's out there. It's Josh Dobbs. I can't believe he's out there, but it's possible. It's a mess. Look, I'm in one league. I kid you not. I started the year with Aaron Rodgers and Daniel Jones. My quarterbacks now are Tommy DeVito and Bryce Young. That's not good.
Receiver question: Cooper or Lockett?
You just can't play Amari Cooper right now. You cannot play him. And it's not that I don't want to play him, but that they didn't even go to PJ Walker worries me. What does that tell you? And I like Thompson, Robinson, one of these guys. I liked him when he was at UCLA. But when he had his chance to play in the NFL, it was bad. I mean, do you remember that game?
Yes.
Like 121 yards and 3 picks, and they're going back to him? Come on. I don't understand that at all. How do you endorse Cooper when the last time this guy played, it was 121 yards and 3 picks?
Okay, we just had somebody from Cleveland on. His spin was that DTR, Thompson Robinson, found out 2 hours before game time he was playing. They didn't game plan for him, so he was running Deshaun's game plan. Now they can put game plans in for him. That's why it will be better. Take that what you will. Need 2 in PPR between McLaurin, Rashee Rice, and Ty Chandler.
Oh, and I love Rashee Rice this week. Ty Chandler I like, but you have to make sure that Madison is out. If Madison is out, you're definitely playing Ty Chandler against the Broncos. One of my best bets last week was James Cook, long run. I think it was 12.5 yards. That was like easy money. I would have gone up the ladder with that bad boy, up to about 30 yards. So Ty Chandler could break a 30-yard run this week easily against the Broncos, but only if he's starting. If Madison's there, if he's cleared, can't play him.
All right, you got a DFS sleeper for us?
Yeah, I really like, if he's active, I like Christian Watson a ton. You can beat the Chargers. They're just not very good in the back end there. We've been waiting for this Christian Watson long distance touchdown all season long. I think it happens this week.
Well, it's funny. Jordan Love said it out loud yesterday. He's trying to keep Watson's confidence up. So that's interesting. I think if he plays, that Jordan Love will try to make it happen. Doc, as always, thanks for your time and your insight. Hang in there with Tommy DeVito, and who again is your quarterback on that one team?
Bryce Young and Tommy DeVito.
Holy.
I'm 30 points out of a playoff spot, so this is the week for Tommy DeVito to go off.
Sure it is.
I feel it.
Sure, yeah, huh?
Good luck with that, Doc.
Okay. Bye, guys.
He's Dr. Roto. He's our resident doctor, makes out calls. Dr. Roto, DRROTO.com. Check out his site. It's awesome.
Miller and Moulton. Thanks for those along the network. The bonus hour in the 239 is next on Miller and Moulton.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Worth.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
And I know there were 3 or 4 questions we did not get to in the Twitch chat room. And usually, but we had the most questions submitted today that we've had submitted all year. So I got to 11 questions. So please don't get discouraged and not submit them in the future. But, I apologize, Missouri and the Baked Jedi, that I didn't get to your questions.
I just liked your name, the Baked Jedi. I really find that funny.
So, Sheikh Zula, you submitted one of the first questions. I didn't get to you.
I don't get to some of the questions on the text line because I don't like the questions.
Then
when someone puts in, should I trade Mark Miller? For who? What's the deal? I'm not even bothering asking that question.
For Joe Klimas and
Brad Collins.
There you go. Took the words right out of my mouth.
So no from the big fella for Thanksgiving. He's on another family vacation. Kid goes on more vacations than anybody I know.
What do your son?
No, I asked.
Gotcha.
Leave Saturday for a week-long vacation.
I'll tell you what. She is good at spending his money. She is living a hell of a life. He's not. She is. I tell him that all the time, too.
I think Sunny just flipped to Christmas.
Wow, that's late.
I'm hearing Christmas music blasting right now for the first time.
That's late.
I don't think they do it full time anymore.
That's stupid.
David, you would like Sunny 106 now. The music that they play, it's...
I understand, but that whole Christmas thing, I mean, Mark, I don't know if you understand. Christmas in July for Hallmark's like their second best month.
I don't know. I just heard Frosty the Snowman playing so loudly it made me vomit in my mouth.
I love my mother. The text I end up sending some of our guests.
Ooh,
Here
this
we
is
go.
terrible.
5 seconds.
Damn. I got to show houses this afternoon. The Wings play too.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the Diamond District bonus hour. Big weekend at the Diamond District. It's their Madonna weekend. It's their Prince weekend. It's their Beyonce weekend. You know, just one name is necessary. Mark, what's the name?
Takori.
See?
Just like Madonna.
Exactly.
In that it's one name.
One name.
Everything else is completely different.
It's big. Okay? That's when you know it's big. Only one name is necessary.
3 years interest-free financing. That's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, it's details though. Mark, what weekend is it again? It's Takori.
Takori weekend.
Thank you. Okay, yeah. Give the info. Just interest-free. Right. Great
Best
selection.
prices on diamonds, best service.
They are. It's true.
Corey is bringing in their whole bridal design team so you can get unbelievable deals and get one-of-a-kind jewelry this weekend. Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. Make sure, if you visit them, to tell them that Miller and Moulton sent you.
The whole design team? Okay. Can I show up and go, Fossey, Fossey, Fossey? I mean, that kind of design team? What are we talking here? No?
Martha Graham.
I love Broadway.
Just keep it all on the inside, will you?
That's true. I really should. Hey, we had a poll question today. Yeah, listen, you're not going to get this poll question anywhere else. No, we're willing to guarantee it. Okay, even the shows that do like 19 poll questions in a day. All right, in honor of Draymond Green putting Rudy Gobert in a chokehold. Do you want to put anyone in a chokehold at your Thanksgiving dinner? We're not asking, will you? We're asking, do you want to? 44% of you. There, it keeps rising. Telling you, drink the truth serum the rest of the day. That's all I'm asking of you. Answer this honestly. You don't even have to divulge the person. Although
this gentleman divulged the person, David. I am loving the text line today. Not with the people at my house, but if I was at my sister's, I would like to choke out her husband. He always has a story to top everyone else's story.
Oh, that guy. Okay. There you go. So the text line, 21,000. Mark's been enjoying because you have used the anonymity of the text line to tell Mark who it is you're going to choke out. So he is enjoying this poll question more than most that we ask.
I love the fact that David said yes, and I know exactly who he would choke out. He can't, but he would.
Yep. So 13 people, all right, coming over, none of them invited. And so
wait a minute, none of them invited.
None of them were invited. No. Nope.
I mean, you have a wife and a mother-in-law that live there. Are you sure they're not responsible for these invites?
Positive. It was my wife who actually used the line first. I said, what are we up to? She said 13. And she was the one that said none of them invited. But what happened was one member of the family, spouse, they said, we want to come. Okay. What are you going to do? I mean, once again, they didn't ask me. See, they went where they knew they would get a yes. So it was like, oh, okay. So then it was like, instead of having 3, we'll have, 5 or whatever. Well, then daughter and son-in-law and granddaughter, plans changed. Okay. And so then they're like, they were going to go to his parents. Well, it turns out that they are not hosting Thanksgiving. And so they then didn't have Thanksgiving. So now daughter, son-in-law, grandchild, mother-in-law, father-in-law, all coming. So there's 5 that came. Then once the couple from my wife's side decided they were coming, so then 2, 3 others said, oh, well, if so-and-so's coming, is it okay if we come too? So no. Once again, don't get me wrong, we'll have fun, and I am going to eat everything not nailed down. Okay, but for the record, 13, none of them invited.
And your family are not drinkers. I wish they were, because there'd be a better chance of truth coming out at this Thanksgiving dinner. But I mean, we'll be pouring the wine at our house. We'll have a few drinks, probably have a cocktail before the wine. There'll be nothing flowing at the Moulton house.
Not an ounce of alcohol will even be in the condo for the dinner. It is so depressing. Oh my goodness.
That is depressing, at least to me.
Yeah,
I would show up at your house with the booze.
That'd be, oh my goodness.
That's what I'd bring. I would just walk in with 4 or 5 bottles of wine and say, how's everybody doing?
It'd be great. You and I would go straight to the lanai. Okay. And we live in this condo development where if you're loud on the lanai, the whole damn development can hear you. And that's exactly what I want to do. I want to be loud on Thanksgiving on the lanai.
I think you should pick up a 6-pack and just make the lanai your spot.
Just take to the lanai?
And have a sports talk show segment or two with your son. You bring the son-in-law over, talk Sacramento Kings for a little while.
Oh, there's no question. It's definitely what I want to do. I talk sports for a living. Okay. Work damn near every day for 4 months. Certainly what I want to do on Thanksgiving is to sit around and talk about the Sacramento Kings. Sure. No question. And I like him. I do.
Well, it's either that or you watch the Lions Packers and have to answer questions from the family about football. Because my guess is, since you're obviously the authority on sports among these 13 people, but given your jobs and the different things you do and the people you work with, that they're going to ask you questions. See, unlike my house, where when my mom comes over to watch football, she is immediately the authority on football. I found this out Sunday during the Chargers-Lions game, that she had everything covered. Didn't need me for anything. It was terrific.
Well, my understanding is it's not just your mom, it's your mother-in-law, that there are 2 authorities on football.
One on the Lions, one on the Steelers.
Correct. All right. And then, of course, your wife's there. And the wife's got gymnastics and numerous other sports covered.
Any of the female Olympic sports we've got down in this house.
So I think Mark's allowed to talk. And, I think the wife thinks she's more of an expert on hockey than even Mark because of her Penguins fandom. So I think Mark's allowed to talk college basketball in his house. That's about it.
What I found out over the years is that they don't like, particularly my wife and mother-in-law, they can talk negatively about their teams. I cannot even bring up the truth.
Universal. That's universal. We can diss our teams. Don't you go on the air and diss our teams. It's unbelievable. It's okay for us to say he sucks. Don't you say he sucks. Well, you just said he sucks. I can think he sucks. You must say he's at least decent, or else you're negative and we don't like you. Yes. You made an assumption and it's incorrect. All right. I would like to think that in a gathering like the one we're going to have on Thanksgiving, that I would be considered the sports expert. But I will be told by at least two people in the room a bunch of things about sports that apparently I didn't know. Yes, absolutely.
In fact, I think for a little Miller and Moulton fun, even though we communicate with each other far more than we need to, maybe we have to have the text lines open on Thanksgiving that we can compare the items of which we don't know enough about with our families.
You know what? I will do that. I will send the first text with the time, and I will say, hey, Mark, I just learned ... Okay, yes. You know, that would be like us, or me in particular, because I've been to 2 Lions games on Thanksgiving in Detroit, me educating you or Trent about the Lions on Thanksgiving and their tradition and their history. Right. Oh, it will happen. Absolutely.
By the way, we're reaching that point of the year every year where people just want to complain about why do we have to watch the Lions on Thanksgiving?
Not this year.
Well, yes, but there's still, it's always there. You always hear it at least from one guy. Why do we have to watch the Lions every year?
Nope, not this year. In fact, here's how beautiful Thanksgiving is going to be for you, Trent. Do you know what that one person's going to say this year? Oh, for goodness sakes, do I really have to watch the Packers? Something that hasn't been said in over 30 years.
God, I wish I could at least give Detroit a decent game on Thanksgiving. They've got to play the Packers.
Man, really? I have to watch Jordan Love?
They clearly don't have this figured out, though, because it's always either a divisional opponent, which I think is a great idea, but you put it against the Packers, who you've already played on Thursday. So you're playing the Packers on a short week twice this year. And then when they don't give you the Packers, they give you the Houston Texans or something like that.
You're totally overthinking this. You really are. It's Thanksgiving. They play it in Detroit and Dallas. Okay, 12:30 and 4. You're overthinking this.
They rotate. One is the early game one year. One is the early game the next year.
Between Fox and CBS. This year, Fox goes to Detroit. All right.
Neither game looks that good on paper this year.
Right. NBC gets the night accordingly. Right. NBC gets the night game. 3 divisional games, by the way. I mean, the NFL has said, listen, divisional games, they don't like each other. And I think it's brilliant for this reason, Trent. It's a short week. It's a pain in the butt. All right. You put a divisional opponent. Okay. All right.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't care this year because the Packers are woeful. But in a regular year where the Packers are actually
good and the Lions are woeful. So that's all. It's just in reverse. That's all. How many times, right now the Lions are 7-2, the Packers are 3-6. How many times has that situation been flipped entering week 10?
I mean, you could be entering the golden years. You and my son are the same age, and he's a Georgia fan. My wife went through a long run of my ex-wife went through a long run of bad Georgia football. When I was married to her, I went through a bad run of Georgia football. He's enjoying the greatest run that they've ever had.
Right.
You may be on the cusp of enjoying the best Lions run that's ever happened. So your complaint should be short these days and just stick to the positives.
You're right.
Because you're going to see them win their first division title in 30 years.
Yes, sir.
That's done. There's nothing standing in the way of that. So you may be on the biggest run of a Lions fan's life, and you can enjoy it all in your young adulthood. Miller and Moulton, thanks for listening.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Oh, I went from the Ray. When I was married to her, I went from the Ray Goff years to the, oh God, what's his name?
Donnan.
Jim Donnan. And then I think we were done by the time. I think there might have been one more in there, but Rick.
Well, Mark Richt. I mean, Rick took over in 02.
I think I was done with her by 02.
01. Rick's first
I think
year
I was.
was 01.
We never, yeah, because Jake was born and we had not been to a game with Jacob. We were down here. Sunbelt Billy. God, that's a great name.
Yep.
It really is.
I sent you a very important text.
Is the niece older than your daughter?
Yes. 29.
Okay.
They're very close.
Because Melissa's 27?
Six.
Okay.
And niece has a daughter that just, I think, turned 3. Might be just less than 3. So they're
that's perfect. You got
the kids are a year apart, and
Yeah,
she loves the niece's daughter loves me and the older one, and they get along great.
That's awesome.
Fox game tonight. It's Amazon game tonight.
Amazon Prime, baby.
Yeah, Adam, I have to admit, they offered so many. To be honest with you, if everybody who was offered and who had indicated said yes, they'd be like 12 over the limit. So I wouldn't. Adam, as long as the quarterback I think it's Rashada. As long as Rashada stays, I wouldn't worry. He's got to hit the portal. I'm much more concerned about the portal than I am this high school class. No one in this high school class is going to help out for the most part next year. He needs to hit the portal. He needs to do what Norvell did.
Is there a hip hop song that's used transfer portal yet in the line as a line?
I'm sure there is.
Gotta be.
I'm out of the hip hop world now.
Okay.
About 2018 is when I got out. But there has to be.
There's too good of a line in there.
Yeah, there has to be some reference to.
I'm just laughing because whenever I listen, because I don't listen to any new hip hop. I listen to old hip hop and even the stuff because I never listened to like Tribe and Wu-Tang.
Okay,
So I'm now listening to some of that. And some of the lines that you hear they're so outdated.
It dates the song.
Yeah, it's so outdated. It's just funny.
Yeah, it is funny.
I mean, because no other genre references pop culture more. Rock
Right.
and roll never really referenced pop culture the way hip hop does.
Right.
The hell are you listening to?
Listening to a song that apparently they think has transfer portal in it.
Okay.
Miller and Moulton, where you will get the most up-to-date hip hop. Here we go.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
If that commercial break was not a good enough reason for you to ever take us in on twitch.tv/Miller and Moulton, you never will. Because we went looking for hip-hop songs having to do with the transfer portal. And we think we found a
transfer portal.
Right.
It's gotta be in a hip hop song somewhere. There's too many good lines you could associate with, getting rid of a woman, bringing someone in off the transfer portal. There's something there. That's all I know, David.
So we think we have found a couple of songs with the transfer portal in them. And so we were playing them. All right. During the Twitch break there. Twitch.tv/Miller and Moulton. It's the Miller and Moulton channel. And you may want to check us out. The commercial breaks oftentimes go in a different direction than the show. We're just saying. Good, bad, and ugly. What's on tap? Today was the day when. That's all coming up along with, final thoughts, couple predictions, that sort of deal. Listen, have we found anything on the BC pick game tonight? BC got a bunch.
I've got nothing.
Injuries because BC's 6-4 and Pitt's 2-8 and Pitt's a 3-point favorite at home. Please tell me there's something going on there. I mean, somebody said, BC's banged up. It better be more than that. I mean, please tell me a backup quarterback's playing or something. They won like 4 or 5.
BC lost to Virginia Tech by 26 last week, and Virginia Tech's awful.
Oh, well, but BC before that had won like 4 in a row or 4 out of 5 or something like that. It's 2-8. Well, anyway, we'll get to that in a few moments. So, are you willing to listen? The one team you will never give up on is your LA Chargers. Unbelievable. But you did pick the Cincinnati Bengals to win the Super Bowl. Correct?
I did.
Okay. If the Bengals lose tonight, is that off the table?
No.
Okay.
No, it's not off the table yet. Looking at their schedule, I think there's still a way for Cincinnati to get to the playoffs. Now, it will be much more difficult, but we've talked about their ability to win on the road in the postseason. They've done it before. If they win tonight, they still have a shot at the division.
True. I will say if they lose tonight, like their division and conference record is not good.
Awful.
They are. If you're a Bengals fan or you just want to see Joe Burrow in the playoffs, they have to get to 10. I mean, right now it is almost impossible to imagine that Cincinnati is going to win a 9-8 tiebreaker against anybody. Their head-to-heads and division record and conference record are not good.
It's just Buffalo they have it with, right? The head-to-head.
I think you're right.
I think that's the only AFC team that's in that realm that they've beaten.
And I think with the news yesterday, which it came out almost 24 hours ago to the minute, that Deshaun Watson has a broken bone in his throwing shoulder and he needs season-ending surgery. And Mark, the question really now is, do you think Deshaun Watson's injury has opened up a spot for either the Bills, Bengals, or Chargers? 3 teams with quote-unquote elite quarterbacks, 3 teams whose rosters are held in fairly high esteem, even though if you add up the one-loss record of those 3 teams, I think they're 14 and 14 or 15 and 15, something like that. I mean, it's remarkable how much those teams have underachieved so far. You got Bengals 5-4, Bills 5-5, and Chargers 4-5.
Right.
So 14 and 14 are the Bengals, Bills, and Chargers.
I definitely think that the Deshaun Watson injury opens up the door for maybe 2 of those teams.
Ooh. See, because deep down, here's where you being forced to watch the Steelers every week, you are convinced that they're not going to make the playoffs.
Convinced.
And I keep trying to tell you, Mark, there's one team every year that's very ugly that we go, how in the world did they? And Mark, I mean, come on, it's Mike Tomlin. He's going to get to at least 9 and 10 they're in. So do you really think they're not going to get to 10? I mean, they would have to lose Sunday.
They would have to lose Sunday because the Pittsburgh Steelers have games at home against the Cardinals and the Patriots.
I'm telling you, Mark, the Pittsburgh's going to the playoffs.
Now, the schedule would agree with you. The fact of the matter is that this team could lose a game against the Cardinals or the Colts or the Patriots or the Browns or anybody. They've been outgained in every damn game they've played this year.
Didn't they rush for like 200 yards last week or something like that? I don't know. I thought they had a really big rushing effort last week.
They did.
Yeah. Okay.
Against Green Bay.
Yeah, I got it. And still almost lost. I mean, they have a gift of playing close games. Man, oh man.
Kenny Pickett threw for 126 yards last week.
I know. That was like coming off a bye too, or something like that. I mean, he's dynamic. It might be, well, not might be. It's one of my 3 biggest surprises of the NFL season thus far. I really thought the Steelers were going to be good on offense. I think they have 2 wide receivers. I thought the double tight end that they were going to throw out there, Freiermuth and the Georgia kid. Oh, my goodness. I thought this was going to be dynamic. And then I thought they had 2 running backs. And I'm thinking, well, hell, the offensive line must be dramatically improved. They traded 2 linemen just to get to the final roster cuts. So, wow.
Najee Harris had his best game of the year last week. Averaged like 5 a carry.
Yeah, see? Telling you. No.
They're going to get to 9.
They're going to get to 10. In fact, Mark, I hate to tell you that they're going to get to 11.
They're going to get to 11?
11 wins?
11. Yes. Now, you got to remember, I picked the Steelers to win the division. I'm higher on them than anybody outside of Pittsburgh. So I'm going to, go down with the ship, so to speak.
This is where you not watching them
has
helped your opinion of them.
I only saw the one game in person, and it was brutal. Defense was on the field for 80 plays. The offense was horrendous. The offense, I think, had 4 yards of offense in the fourth quarter, and yet they came from behind and won. That's not a joke. Take a look at the fourth quarter stats against Cleveland. I think the offense had 4 yards total. They were trailing at the beginning of the quarter. They won the game. That's the Pittsburgh Steelers in a nutshell this year.
But David, I will grant you this. If the Pittsburgh Steelers beat the Browns, they're getting to 10.
You mean when they beat the Browns?
If they beat the Browns. They've got to score some points, and I don't know if they can.
Well, that's the thing. There's something to be said about these teams that just find a way to win, like David's saying, but at some point, is it sustainable? The way they play, is it sustainable?
Well, let's see. For Mike Tomlin, it has been since 2007.
Even when they're...
But come on, they've not played this way. This is for Pittsburgh.
But they have played this way the last 3 years. They've gone 9-7-1 and 9-8. I thought they were ready to take the next step. The other thing I mentioned, I think the Steelers are in the Ravens' heads. I really do. I think it's the only team in the league that's in Baltimore's heads. They're definitely in Cleveland's head. Definitely in Cleveland's head. How can they not be? Which was why when Cleveland went to Pittsburgh and won the playoff game, it is difficult unless you are a Browns fan. If you don't know a Browns fan, you cannot fully grasp what that night was like. And Cleveland, Mark, has to win games the rest of the way Pittsburgh's been winning games all year.
Miller and Moulton, a little Steeler talk. A little AFC playoff talk as well. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Today was a day when and what's on tap. That's all still ahead right here on Miller and Moulton.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Jason and Todd are excited to kick off the holiday season at the Diamond District with their biggest diamond event of the year. This weekend, November 17th, 18th, and 19th, Jason and Todd rolled out the red carpet for you. Come view the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. Many jewelers talk about selection, but no one walks the walk like Jason and Todd. With over 6,000 square feet of showroom filled with stunning fine jewelry. They'll be in the store all weekend to work with you personally and make sure you get the lowest prices on all fine jewelry, GIA certified diamonds, diamond engagement rings, bracelets, diamond studs, and more. Takori, America's top bridal designer, will join the Diamond District with her entire collection of over 500 new bridal designs. If you're in love and want diamonds, now is the perfect time to visit the Diamond District. Jason and Todd will also throw in 3 years interest-free financing on what they promise to be the lowest prices on diamonds anywhere.
At the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Hey, first off, I think we're going to have JP next week on Friday. You and I are going to need 5 minutes at some point because we got to move things around for next week.
Yep.
And so I think we're going to have to, one or two segments not do, and we'll just figure out what we're doing when. I will get confirmation today from JP. He's calling Lions Packers on Westwood One and then staying and doing Ohio State, Michigan. So I think we're going to get, and the Jags play the Texans next week. So I think we're going to get JP on Friday.
Okay.
He will have just done the Lions Packers preview, Ohio State, Michigan. So I'm thinking JP for Friday at 8:38.
Okay.
After Pat.
That works.
Okay. So we got Roto at
Roto.
Well, right. So in theory, we have to do Roto on Wednesday.
Right.
Which would mean, I think, moving Bud. So
or
I'm asking,
would Roto do 7:38?
Right. Well, I've asked him that also. So I've asked them both. How flexible are you? What I think is, because of Roto's schedule, my guess is that Roto's going to be 8:38 Wednesday. And we'll move Bud. And we'll move Bud to either 7:38 Wednesday, or I'll move Bud to Tuesday.
Stacy Deffenbaugh's leaving NBC2.
Has she gotten married?
Yes.
Okay.
She's working with her husband.
Yeah.
Her
He's
last
a lawyer.
Friday, yeah.
He's a lawyer, right?
I don't know.
She's been there 20 years. Should send it to John.
No, she's working at her husband's restaurant.
Oh. Hmm. She dated a lawyer.
Sorry,
Dated
go
a lawyer. No, I just remember her dating a lawyer for a long time, so that I thought they got married, but okay.
It could be, and the lawyer may have opened a restaurant.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't talked to Stacy in 10 years. So if we had Roto at 8:38 Wednesday, and if we had Bud on 8:38 Tuesday.
Yeah.
Okay. So then we would have to I've asked South Florida, can we do goalish at either 8 or 8:20 on Wednesday? So they're working that in.
And then just dump Seth if we get him at 8?
Yeah, probably.
Hey, Mark, those best of segments, do they need to be done Monday, or can I use stuff from Monday's show?
You can use stuff from Monday's show, but after that, we got to send it Monday because I'm afraid people will be taking the week off.
Yeah.
I want to make sure all the
that's a
PDs
good
have
idea. I just want to, if you guys are going to be doing a lot of NFL talk on Monday, I think that's probably going to be more relevant because, it'll be after this
the only other thing would be to email all the PDs and say, we're going to have a best of on Thursday. When's the last date I can get you this stuff?
I'll make sure to do that.
How about the weekend for JP, huh?
That's awesome.
Here we go.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes until the top of the hour, 16 minutes until we are out of here. This is the Diamond District bonus hour of Miller and Moulton. We do this hour just for our loyal audience in Southwest Florida. Thrilled to do it for you, and very happy and proud that Todd and Jason have been with this show for, basically their entire 20 years in business. we hope we've done a little something for them. They've done a lot for us, and they can do a lot for you this weekend.
That's right. Corey in town. They're a great diamond designer. They'll have all the GIA diamonds, 8 to 10% above cost, 3 years interest-free financing. Lots of reasons if you're looking for a diamond to go to the Diamond District this weekend for their big sale. To Corey in town, make sure you stop by the Diamond District, see Jason and Todd, and make sure you tell them that Miller and Moulton sent you.
To Corey, huh? Is that like Beyonce?
No. I am so happy for your sake that you're in Jacksonville right now.
Takori is in town. Oh, Takori's in town. And they've got the whole staff. Really? I'm telling you, I wish I was there. Okay.
Me too.
I wish I was there. Okay. First off, I'd show up with the boombox. Okay. The Cusack song playing, and I'd be yelling, "Where's Takori?"
Should be a hell of a Thanksgiving at the Moulton house. That's all I know. In fact, will you please, just for me, get at least a 6-pack?
Oh, yeah. Well, there's a couple of people coming over who will need booze. The problem is there's a few people coming over who can't.
Oh.
Yeah. So.
Well, sucks to be them.
Well, that's kind of my feeling, but, Mark, I don't run this house. I just pay for it. Very different.
It's time for someone to take back this segment, if for no other reason than to stop David from talking about Meghan and Harry. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
1926 we start today, David. Your Rangers played their first ever ice hockey game. They beat the Montreal Maroons 1-0 at the Garden.
Didn't we win the cup that year? I don't know. We've only won the damn thing like 4 times.
1938. LSD is first synthesized by Dr. Albert Hoffman. On behalf of many, many people, I want to say thank you, Dr. Albert Hoffman.
Wow.
For having that bush speak to me on 911 Main Street in Mount Pleasant, Michigan back in the early 90s. I'm sure your dad was there, Trent. Al Capone freed from Alcatraz today in 39.
Wait a minute. Is he allowed to bring that up at Thanksgiving? Hey, Dad, I learned something working with Mark and David. Okay.
Mark said a bush talked to him at a
Mark
at a party.
Calling him right after the show.
Mark said there was something about a bush that was talking to you.
I guarantee your dad was there.
I'll report back tomorrow.
Guarantee it.
That's kind of like the comedian who talks about the burning bush in the Bible. Okay. Anyway, we're going to get in trouble.
57, Bill Russell sets an NBA record with 49 rebounds.
Boy, could somebody make a shot, please?
And Oklahoma's football win streak ended at 47 after losing to Notre Dame 7-0.
Yep. That I remember. I remember reading that when I was a kid for some reason. That factoid stayed with me.
1960, U.S. Marshals escort 4 6-year-old African-American girls to a previously all-white public school in New Orleans. Today in 62, Wilt goes for 73 against the Knicks. They had 127 in the game. Disney launches the Epcot Center today in 65.
If I could go back to Wilt for a second. When he scores 73 against you and it's not his best game against you.
Right.
Right. Because he scored the 100 against the Knicks. So, yeah.
Nixon becomes the first president to attend a regular season NFL game while in office. It was in 69. The Cowboys would beat the Redskins 41-28.
Well, remember, he sent a play to George Allen, the Redskins head coach, when they were taking on the undefeated Dolphins. He called him up to wish him luck, and he said he gave him a play suggestion. I believe, legend has it, George Allen ran the play in the Super Bowl.
Wouldn't you?
No, actually. He's a politician. I'm the football coach. What the heck do you know?
Today in 72, Carly Simon released her big album, No Secrets. It had You're So Vain on it. Today in 74, John Lennon's only solo #1, Whatever Gets You Through the Night. Today in 99, Dr. Dre released The Chronic. The Chronic 2001, that's the second one. 2003, Messi makes his official debut for FC Barcelona at 16. Today in 2010, big day for you, David. Prince William and Kate announced their engagement.
You know, I'll give them credit. So they dated for a while, and they sent the word out that they had broken up. And the press fell for it. And apparently they broke up for like an hour and a half. And then they, got back together and for quite a while before somebody in the press actually goes, I think they're back dating again.
Today in 2014, Kevin Harvick wins the NASCAR Cup.
Was his only cup.
Only cup win, yeah.
Right. He won 60 races, but that was his only championship.
And it was 2 years ago today that the men's roller derby team settles its dispute with Major League Baseball, allowing both to use the Cleveland Guardians name. Born today and no longer with us. Go ahead, David. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, on behalf of sports fans everywhere, we wish you had taken a hard line and insisted on keeping the Cleveland Guardians to yourself and forced the Major League team to come up with a better name.
No doubt. Burgess Meredith and JoJo White would have been celebrating birthdays today. Frank Bruno is 62. Doc Gooden is 59. Lisa Bonet is 56. Amari Stoudemire is 41. And Pete Davidson is 30.
Are you serious? He's only 30?
Yeah.
Oh, he's been around a while. B, he seemingly dated 30 actresses. Okay? And I don't know. He's had a hard life.
He's got to hand it to a lot. I mean, he's got to be an idol to a lot of average-looking men.
Oh, he's got game.
Yeah.
To have dated the women that he's dated. I mean, for a guy who just tells jokes, I mean, usually you have to be able to sing.
I get told I look like him on a regular basis. I don't take it as a compliment. He's not a good-looking guy.
I would take it as a compliment because I would keep telling yourself all the women he has dated and then you go, I must have game.
Someone in the Twitch chat room said I looked like him on one of my first play of the week things. And then another guy said Blake Griffin, and then we were officially off the rails. But Blake, I don't see that one at all.
Did you tell him the joke involving Blake Griffin?
No, we'll get to it after the show.
All right. Oklahoma entered the Union 116 years ago.
Oklahoma.
Thank you, Peyton. The Sound of Music premiered on Broadway today in 1959. The Hills Were Alive, Mark. The Hills Were Alive. And the very first Harry Potter film today in 2001. Mm-hmm. That has done pretty well.
Yes, they have.
Just saying.
Never read a one. Never saw one. Never read a one.
They did okay without our money. I'm just letting you know.
I know. I've got nothing to add to the whole Harry Potter thing. That's all I'm saying.
You've heard folks elsewhere mock Florida is gonna Florida. Well, Mark Miller sees it differently. He calls it the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
David, this is an opportunity for perhaps your wife or maybe others. But a company is paying someone $2,000 to watch and rank 12 Hallmark holiday movies.
Wait, how much?
$2,000.
So that's about $165 a movie.
Right.
I'm in.
Bloomsy Box said the chosen candidate will also receive an ample supply of Ghirardelli hot cocoa and 2 pair of fuzzy socks to guarantee a cozy watching experience.
Okay, we could do without that. Could you just give me the cash? I mean,
applications are open through December the 3rd, David. The film fan will be asked to rank each movie by criteria including festivity factor.
Wait, hold on. What the hell is that? A festivity factor?
how damn festive the movie is.
Mark, it's a Hallmark Christmas movie. On a scale of 1 to 10, it's a 23 on the festivity factor.
Do you give it 1 Christmas tree, 2 Christmas trees, 3 Christmas trees, or 4 Christmas trees? That's what I want to know.
I give it a forest, Mark. That's how festivitous it is.
The predictability quotient is another factor.
39.
The chemistry check.
Well, I have to admit, there are some in which you go, come on, they're not getting together. Are you serious?
The tearjerker test.
Lame. -4. Every
and
single
then the
one.
replay value. You're out already, by the way. You have completely... I don't want you as my holiday movie tracker.
Why not? You just, on a scale of 1 to 10, I gave the one a 24, the one a 37, the -4, and then the other one's up in the air. It depends. And there's no tear-jerking factor. It's so lame, made up. I mean, please, you know, at the point in the movie in which you go, oh, here comes the manufactured, obstacle to them kissing at the end. Right.
For the bad, we go to North Naples, where one person was arrested after attacking deputies during a DUI investigation.
I don't know why they do this, and then they take off their clothes. I don't know why.
This person did not take off their clothes, but they were pulled over at the entrance of a gated community. They thought they were in, David. They thought they were in when Collier County sheriffs pulled them out. The subject became violent with deputies and assaulted them. They were arrested. No deputies were believed to be injured during the attack.
Listen, Mark, how much drugs do you have to be on to think that the cops who have pulled you over, A, that there's not more of them than you, and B, that they're not heavily armed? I mean, seriously. I mean, that LSD anniversary that you were referencing, I mean, you'd have to start there, wouldn't you?
You'd need more than a bush talking to you for me to attack an officer, David.
Totally. There's a better chance of me attacking the bush.
Exactly. For the ugly, we go to New Hampshire, where a man is facing multiple charges after police say he broke into a church earlier this week and then strangled a police canine and bit an officer who responded to the scene.
What in the world?
Paul Lopez was banging on the window from the inside. The officer called more law enforcement to the scene. As additional officers arrived, again, to David's point, Lopez could be heard screaming inside the church and did not comply with the announcements for him to come out. They sent the dog in, and he grabbed the dog and started strangling it. Officers were able to take Lopez into custody after significant difficulty, which led to one officer being bitten by Lopez and an officer and a trooper being assaulted by him. Mr. Lopez will be spending Thanksgiving and probably Christmas in jail. And that is the good, the bad, and the ugly on today, November the 16th, 2023.
You know, I got to be honest. If I was a cop and you bit me, I might violate procedure and protocol. I'm just saying. There's a chance I may not stick to the guidelines. Because once again, you bit me. Just saying.
It's a fair point.
I've got my faults. I'm aware of a lot of them. Okay?
I can't believe nobody used a taser in this situation. This guy just got beat up and didn't get tased. Amazes me.
I think that the cop showed great restraint there. He attacked the dog and an officer. Wow. The Heat host the Nets tonight. And the Thunder are in Golden State. It's the only 2 games going on tonight in the NBA. They're both on NBA TV, Mark. I know you got the problems. You cut the cord and you can't get Bally's anymore. And certain teams you can't see. If you want, you can go the NBA TV route if you feel you must. Thursday night, hockey, they think people are not watching the NFL. They schedule a bunch of games on Thursday. Tampa's going to look for a little revenge against Connor Bedard and the Blackhawks in Chicago at 8 o'clock. Panthers are in Los Angeles to take on the Kings at 10:30.
There's day hockey, though, David.
Oh, I know.
2 p.m., Red Wings and Senators in Sweden. First of 4 games in Sweden over the course of the weekend.
How about that, Trent? Huh? Little Red Wings hockey at 2 o'clock?
I'll be tuning in. I'll watch it from the lanai. Something I've never done. Hockey on the lanai.
Welcome to Florida, my man. Welcome to Florida. Miller and Moulton. Football Friday edition of the show tomorrow. Until then, have a great day, and we'll do it all over tomorrow, 6 a.m., Miller and Moulton.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents.